Cars have to have engines or else they're not proper cars, are they?
More phone calls from the lost and found of free speech.
Outrageous opinion and controversial comment with the dual voltage dream team. The Michaels, Graham and Parry. He's back, is he?
Through the night until dawn's early light.
The two Mikes, Parry and Graham on Talk Sport.
Look at the light!
I'm going to show you that I'm not on a scrap heap and that I won't be finished.
Imagine if we were in the studio now and King Kong was on the roof trying to smash his way through the roof. And we thought when he gets in, his hand's going to grab us and take us away, and he's going to mash us up and eat us. I mean, that's horrible.
Dreams like.
Well, you do worry about these things, don't you?
No.
Well,
I really don't worry about King Kong smashing.
Well, I don't mean King Kong, but I mean you worry about oppression, don't you, in all its forms.
Talk Sports, we are the two Mikes, and it's time to say a very, very good morning to Mr. Mike, a Porky, a Parry. Very good morning to you, Mr. Parry.
Yeah, very good morning, Mike.
Now, which Mr. Parry are we going to be seeing this morning? Are we going to be seeing the one who thinks Roy Hodgson's done a great job? Are we going to see the one who thinks that Roy Hodgson should be fired? Are we going to see the one that's going to be nice to me? Are we going to see the one that's not going to be nice to me?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, you're going to have to wait and see, aren't you, the next 3 hours. That will all spill out, you know what I mean? What I have to say is I really do like your the use of the phrase... Roy Hodgson, predictably philosophical.
Yes.
What you mean by that is predictably talking a load of,
a load of old bolloxios.
Yeah, bolloxios and baloney, because there's no answer. And the problem is, at £3.2 million a year, it seems to object, excuse me, to the gentleman of the press, asking him why it didn't work.
Doesn't like it at all. Thinks it's impertinent.
Yeah, he does,
thinks that nobody's got any reason to say that England haven't done well, because he has the mentality that some England fans have on Twitter that I've been having rows with for pretty much since the start of the tournament. We've progressed to the last 16, we were top of the group, or, we've only let in one goal, or, we've got one win and 2 draws. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
We're unbeaten. It's an unbelievable view, isn't it?
Well, what I don't get is, and I really don't, I mean, I accept I never played professional football.
I
and
accept that as well.
I accept that I'm not the greatest analyst necessarily of worldwide football strategy, but I just don't get this theory that if we were playing better teams, we'd actually get better results.
Madness. This is from the same guy.
Ridiculous.
This is from the same guy, though.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there is a certain type of football brain that comes out with this rubbish, right? The same brain that says it's harder to play against a team of 10 men than it is a team of 11. In the same brain that says, it's better to be, 1-0 up than 2-0 up, because when you're 2-0 up, things are very dangerous.
That's it's too much you get nervous.
What?
Yeah, when you're 1-0 up, you don't get so nervous.
Yeah.
But this idea that if we suddenly now play Germany, say, or Spain in the round of 16 instead of Portugal or Hungary or it might be or Austria or something like that, things would be better because they come at us.
Well,
but the thing is, if they come at us, they're then going to test a defence, which actually at the moment hasn't been terribly efficient.
Hasn't been tested, but it also hasn't been tested.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about the example in the game tonight when Chris Smalling's idea of chesting it, Fellaini style, almost cost us the game.
Yeah. Well, they sort of bumbled into each other like a pair of Keystone Cops.
Yeah.
I mean, I presume this is the same sort of strategy that Roy has decided to come up with, which is that we must try and play the most difficult teams possible because we'll do better against them.
Yeah, well, I don't get it. But anyway, looking at the game tonight, first of all, when I heard 6 changes, I thought, well, I'm not going to pile in and say this is disastrous and all that kind of stuff.
Well,
because
you were praising him last week.
All I said was he got the victory. He had 4 points out of 6.
You said he got it right.
Well, he got 4 points out of 6, so at that stage, and I expected to get another 3 points today, that was 7 points out of 9, then as far as I'm concerned, he'd done an efficient job getting through the easiest part of the competition. Yeah. But he hasn't, because it didn't work. And when I heard earlier today that he was making 6 changes, my immediate thought was, well, how can you suddenly impose a completely new system on the 4 remaining players in the team?
Yeah, right.
Who are the 2 centre-backs, the goalkeepers, that's the spine of the whole defence, and 1 player up in the middle, Lallana.
Who he then took off. Who was actually having a great game.
Exactly. And then at half-time, or just after, bring Rooney on, and then you revert him back to the role that Rooney played in the first 2 games, which was pivotal as a midfield player. So you're asking the whole team then to start playing in a completely different way.
What he should have done
I think it's crazy.
Well, surely what he should have done, which is what we argued about the last time, was keep the team that beat Wales, i.e. the team in the second half
You'd have thought
against
so.
Wales. You just keep that team.
I'd have thought so. I really would have thought so.
And also, here's another question for you. for you. How can he tell me earlier in the week when he was asked about Jack Wilshere, it doesn't matter that he hasn't had much game time. I've watched him in training.
He looks great.
Very sharp.
Yes.
Very sharp.
Very sharp.
Really?
He couldn't hold on to a ball. He couldn't trap a ball. He couldn't hold on to a ball.
As the bluntest pencil I've ever owned.
He was giving the balls away. He was causing a bit of confusion amongst his colleagues. He didn't seem to know what kind of strategy he was employing in misdirecting balls all over the place.
Yeah.
That was a fiasco. That was a bit of a fiasco. So all in all, not a great night. And I revert to my original hypothesis.
Yes.
That he's the wrong man for the job.
Well, of course he's the wrong man for the job. Not only is he the wrong man for the job, but he's the wrong man specifically for tournament football.
Yeah.
Well, look at his record in tournament football. I mean, in Brazil...
England's record in tournament football.
Well, yeah, but I mean, England's record in tournament...
This is his third, by the way.
No, but in tournament football...
That's quite a lot. That's quite a lot of tournaments for England manager.
But in tournament football, they weren't never been this bad.
Yeah.
I mean, if they got to a tournament, at least they did reasonably well.
Well, it was Sven kind of guaranteed you quarter-final status.
Yeah.
And for that, he got £5 million a year.
Yeah.
So I suppose on the mad economics of
quite
the
a lot
FA...
of fun.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Well, we won't talk about that. You mean leaving his shoes outside bedroom doors and all this kind of stuff?
I wouldn't want to get into specifics, but I think he enjoyed himself, didn't he?
He certainly did, yeah.
Put himself about.
So that cost us £5 million a year.
Yeah.
Highest paid manager in the world at the time.
Yes.
Now we're scraping into the round of 16 at £3.2 million a year.
Well, I suppose in terms of budgetary manoeuvres, that's saved a bit of money.
It's still mad. It's still crazy. And Chris Coleman, who got 6 points out of 9 and has topped the group above England, sits proudly at the pinnacle there, is being paid £200,000 a year.
That's right, yeah.
So somebody explain that economic plan to me.
Yeah.
Is it all about incentives?
Well, I don't know what it's about.
Must be about incentives.
Well, I mean, Greg Dyke was sitting there with the Prince of Wales, who's the head of the FA in England,
glasses on.
Which is the first thing they've got wrong. I mean, he's the Prince of Wales. Surely he should be the head of the Welsh FA, shouldn't he?
Well, he lives in England, doesn't he?
Well, it doesn't matter where he lives.
He lives in Norfolk.
He's the Prince of Wales.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just a titular title, that, you know.
Well, I don't think the Welsh think that.
No, he's not Prince of Wales anyway.
I thought he was.
No, his father's the Prince of Wales, you idiot.
Well, he's going to be Prince of Wales.
What are you talking about?
Well, he's going to be the Prince of Wales.
He's not going to be a Prince of Wales.
He is going to be the Prince of Wales.
He's the Duke of Cambridge. That's why he lives in Norfolk, because that's near Cambridge.
He'll become the Prince of Wales, won't he?
Do you know in Cambridge there's over 450 new high-tech start-up companies?
In Cambridge?
Thriving.
Really?
Thriving. Absolutely thriving
What,
place,
what do you mean by what's mean Silicon Valley?
Yeah,
type?
that's right. Yeah, our sort of Silicon Valley is around Cambridge. Yeah, and by the way, I found something else out as well.
Yeah, go on.
In my journals over the weekend, Tom Hiddleston, right, who I nominated as a winner, as a hero.
Yes.
Because he's now got a girlfriend.
I thought you nominated Calvin Harris as the villain.
I did. Yeah.
So you didn't actually nominate Tom Hiddleston as the hero.
Well, he was part of the argument. Now, Tom Hiddleston
But
is.
people have said you got that wrong, though.
Hang on, excuse me. Just let me finish really before you interrupt.
Right,
You're always interrupting.
Well, I have to interrupt.
Tom Hiddleston, who could be the next James Bond, has now got the most fantastic girlfriend in the world, Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Not only is she currently the world's most successful singer and one of the richest.
Yeah.
I'd love a rich girlfriend, by the way. It'd be fantastic.
No, I don't think you would.
No,
you wouldn't. You would hate a woman who was more wealthy than you.
Well, I wouldn't want her as wealthy as me, but I would like her to have some wealth in her own right, so I don't have to keep buying her bags.
Well, so you could maybe take you out to Wetherspoons once in a while.
Yeah, it'd be good, yeah. But anyway, she's also got her own private plane.
Yeah.
So Tom Hiddleston, hitched a lift on her plane back to America.
We were on the
but I found something else out. Did you know, this is a fantastic statistic, by the way, because he's probably going to be the next James Bond. So everybody will find this out about him when he becomes James Bond. But I found out about him now.
Okay.
He grew up in Oxford, right?
Yeah.
You got that? Mm. But graduated through school to win a place at Cambridge University,
right?
Even though he came from Oxford.
Well, what's unusual about that?
It's very unusual. Unusual. And then guess what? Did you know he rowed in the Oxford-Cambridge boat race?
I didn't know that.
At number 6.
Did he?
In an 8.
You are number 6.
You're number 6. That's right.
I'm a free man.
But it gets even better than that. He then went to the Olympics.
For Cambridge?
Hey?
So he's a Cambridge Blue, in other words.
A Cambridge Blue, but he was in a race that he lost against Oxford. Oxford won.
Right.
However, he's so impressive that he went to the Olympic trials. And remember, he's 6'4".
Yeah.
Right, so...
Well, I don't remember that because I don't have his kind of vital statistics to hand.
So he goes to the Olympic trials, and guess what happens then?
I don't know. He doesn't get in.
He gets glandular fever.
Ah.
And glandular fever ended his career as a rower.
Did it?
And that's why he became an actor.
I see.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Well, I suppose it's
I think it is. That's pretty
sliding
good.
door moments.
A lot of these people who go to Cambridge get into what's called the footlights, don't they?
They do.
Isn't that in Cambridge?
It is, yes.
And I think Emma Thompson was in it.
I think she was.
And I think John Cleese was in it.
John Cleese was as well.
Stephen
Not at the
Fry.
same time, though.
Hey? Sorry?
Not at the same time.
Not at the same time, no. Stephen Fry, people like that,
Yeah.
It's a good way to make a living, I suppose.
Like, mate, all your lovely mates might have been in there.
Oh, my lovely mates. I haven't got any lovely mates.
You've got loads of lovely mates.
Now, are you going to tell the world about...
You've seen the time, by the way.
Yeah, but hang on. We've got a totally new audience tonight to the audience we had for the warm-up show on Sunday.
On Sunday afternoon,
And I think they deserve to know, the audience tonight, about my incredible act of comradeship over the weekend, don't you?
No.
Well, I think they do. I think they do.
You gave me a Father's Day present. Big deal.
What was it?
It was a bottle of champagne.
A rosé champagne, I think.
A bottle of rosé champagne.
Rosé Moët et Chandon. Oh, well, you changed your attitude.
Yeah, well, so what?
You seem to be very grateful for it on Sunday.
I was very surprised.
You said it was a nice gesture.
It was a lovely gesture.
And that it was Father's Day. And then what
Sunday.
did you give me?
You're not a father.
I'm father of my flock.
You're a father of nothing.
I am.
You're the father of nothing.
And you're telling me now
the only thing that you have ever produced has been a load of old cobblers.
And you're dismissive of the present I gave you. Well, I tell you something, pal.
I'm not dismissive
I'll tell you something.
I was very thankful for it at the time.
Yeah.
But why are you milking it?
I'm not milking it.
You are.
I'm not. Millions of our listeners, have been in contact over the weekend saying what a wonderful part of the show it was, what a nice gesture it was, and all that kind of stuff. And if that's the case, then they deserve a broader explanation of what it was all about.
Really?
And perhaps you'd like to tell them they can actually witness it.
Well, I will do, but I haven't got time at the moment, so we'll get to it in a little while from now. We've got lots of other things to talk about, not just your, amazing act of generosity, spending 35
It's on Two Mikes TV.
35 quid on a bottle of champagne.
Video of me handing over
Get over
the
yourself.
How much did you say?
Get over yourself.
How much did you say?
35 quid.
Oh, yeah, and the rest, pal.
Really?
And the rest.
Really?
Oh, yes.
All right, OK, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I'll let you know. This is Talk Sport. Talk Sport, we are the Two Mikes. Winners and losers coming up a little bit later on, of course. We'll be talking about a great many other things as well, including, of course, Father's Day. And I'll tell you about Porky's little gift gesture in a moment, because he's obviously champing at the bit.
I'm not champing at the bit.
To be filled with praise.
No,
I was very touched by what you did, right, on Sunday.
Yeah.
But it was Sunday.
So why are you just so dismissive about it?
Because it's now Tuesday, right? I've drunk the champagne.
Yeah.
It's not Father's Day anymore. Life goes on.
Oh, well, tell me...
what have you brought me today? What have you done for me lately?
Just tell me about the drinking process then. How did it go?
The drinking process went well. I managed to get out of London quite quickly, which was nice for a change.
Yeah.
For some reason, it wasn't as busy this Sunday as it normally is.
Right.
And took me about an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes to get down to Sussex.
Lovely.
Where the sun was shining.
Yes.
I took my own advice, wrapped I took it out of the box, showed it around. Everybody was very happy. My kids gave me a nice present as well. They bought me a couple of polo shirts.
Yes.
Which were from, I think, actually your favourite shop.
Oh, yes?
Yeah. I think they had a Slazenger, possibly. Anyway, nice blue shirt and a nice white shirt, sort of tennis shirts, right?
So where are they from?
Well, Sports Direct, where you got all your stuff.
I don't buy anything from Sports Direct.
You buy all your stuff from Sports Direct.
I bought one pair of shoes from Sports Direct.
You said you bought all your shoes from Sports Direct.
Rubbish. One pair.
You buy all your shoes from Sports Direct.
I bought two other pairs that didn't fit and I gave them away.
Look, Dave Levine behind the glass is drinking out of your mug, which is a Sports Direct mug, which you brought in.
It's not my mug. I didn't bring it in.
You bought your Pierre Cardin shirt you bought from Sports Direct.
No, I didn't.
You did.
No,
they're on sale there for £4.
Well, I've no idea about that because I got mine for about... much more than that, about 65 quid.
I was 44 the last time.
From
up to 65
from
now.
the Pierre Cardin shop.
The Pierre Cardin shop.
Now then,
so I wrapped the because it wasn't. You hadn't chilled it, unfortunately, so it wasn't ready to drink.
Well, it wouldn't have stayed cold all the way home
it would have
anyway.
stayed cold if you'd given it to me in a sort of a cold bag. You could have got
one
of those.
I didn't want to take it out of its decorative box that it came in.
Oh, okay.
That's why it cost an awful lot more than 35
quid.
You
sure it wasn't because it had a box?
Well, it's a presentation
pack.
How
much was the box?
Presentation?
It's not a presentation
It was
pack.
a presentation
Absolute
pack.
rubbish.
I don't know why you're so
dismissive. If ever you want to see...
You didn't sound out any pictures of you drinking it.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it's pink champagne. It would have made a nice picture, pink.
Yeah, well, it's not the first time I drunk pink champagne. What do you think? I'm some slapper from, some little town that you used to go and haunt.
Yeah, probably.
Who's never seen a glass of pink champagne?
Yeah, I would think so,
I think so.
Right, anyway, listen, enough of that.
Anyway, if anybody wants to see you presenting me with this amazing bottle of champagne...
Yes, that's right.
I mean, it wasn't as if it was Dom Perignon or anything.
Sorry?
It wasn't as if it was Dom Perignon. It was a Moet.
Yeah, Moët Chandon, the best vintage.
No, it's not.
It was.
It was a very nice gesture, and I said thank you.
Yeah.
But, I'm not going to thank you for the rest of my life for it.
Yeah, well, I don't expect you to thank for the rest of my life, but as long as you're aware of things, that's fine.
I'm very much aware
I think we should move on, because the problem is now that we now face...
Well, let me read you some of the reaction first. Okay. David says this, Porky's an Indian giver, tell him to shove his champers right up his you-know-what.
That's a bit harsh.
Yeah. An Irish one says, sorry to tell you, but Porky won that bottle in a raffle at the bingo.
No, it didn't. But somebody else put a malicious note around Sunday afternoon saying, I've just come out of Tesco's and they're offering Moët Chandon 2-for-1 offers.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
BOG off, buy one, get one free.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolute nonsense. You can bog off, pal, whoever you are.
Steve had sent one in saying, hang on, I bought it for Porky when he refused to drink from me at Dingwall's.
Rubbish.
And he's got a picture of the very same box that you bought.
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
I wouldn't be at all surprised if it fell off the back of a lorry.
No, it didn't fall off the back of a lorry. Now, enough of that. Now, the problem is, of course, because we failed miserably to get to the top of the group, that we were expected to win. And by the way, what an achievement by Wales. I can't say enough in praise of Chris Coleman. You know, I tell you all the time about Chris Coleman's face, how it's so expressive.
Very rubbery, yes.
How it's rubbery and moves. And funny enough, I spoke to somebody when I was at the Hippodrome last Thursday, wasn't I?
Yes, you
were.
Doing
something with Monsieur Brunel.
Involved in some kind of presentation or other.
Yeah, that's right. And there was a guy there who works in sports marketing, and we were just talking, and we mentioned Chris Coleman because he'd done some business with him.
Oh, yeah. And
I said to him, don't you think Chris Coleman's got a very expressive face? And this guy started doing all sorts of Chris Coleman impersonations. Right.
Really?
Yeah, like...
sort of Mr. Bean-like.
Yeah, that's right. Who's the actor again?
Rowan Atkinson.
Rowan Atkinson. He started twisting his nose around his face, and his eyes were wide open, because Chris Coleman's got a very expressive face. Yeah. And when you look at him, you think, wow, every sinew in this man's body is actually involved in his communication process, which comes out through his face, through his eyes, through his lips, through his mouth, through his ears, his nose, wrinkles his nose and everything. He's an incredibly good communicator.
He is a very good communicator.
Whereas Roy Hodgson's not.
No.
Roy Hodgson...
But as you say, part of that is because he doesn't want to be. But he doesn't want to be a good communicator.
He won't tell anybody anything.
He doesn't want to be a good communicator. And also, look at what it means. It means that England's first game against Russia, which they were so dominant in. He keeps talking about how dominant the team were, and how dominant. As Slaven Bilic actually said, all this possession talk about England having possession against these teams means nothing, because they didn't want possession.
They didn't score.
None of these teams. No, but listen to what I'm saying. Yeah. Slovakia and Wales at the time, and also Russia, they didn't want possession of the ball. They didn't care if England had all the possession.
Well, the two other things on that, by the way, we didn't realise how rubbish Russia are until Wales turned them over tonight. And by the way, that's not criticising Wales.
Slovakia beat them.
Well, exactly. Exactly.
Only got 1 point. It was against England.
Exactly. And then Wales beat them. So we actually didn't do a very good job against the poorest team in the group. We gave them too much respect. They were the weakest team in the group. We thought they were the strongest after us.
Yeah.
And then we didn't realise really what a tremendous result we got against the Welsh, because we went into the game expecting, this is easy, we'll turn them over.
Hang on, you went into that game saying that Wales were basically the team with the big momentum.
I said it'd be very hard to beat them,
but then England beat them, and you've been all over the place in this tournament.
No, I haven't.
You were backing Wales against England, and then when England beat Wales, you were backing England to be top of the group.
No.
I don't know where you're coming from.
No, don't worry. I know exactly where I'm coming from. The only thing I'm saying is now we've got to play. Now old Ronaldo. Yeah. Do I not love Ronaldo? Do I love Ronaldo?
Do you love him? Do you not love him? I don't know.
Oh no, he's a wonderful guy.
You love him?
He's an absolutely wonderful guy. I mean, the way his moods can change after that last dreadful game when he topped off 4 blatant misses by hitting the penalty against the post.
You'd have to say, apart from the penalty, I mean, he was pretty unlucky.
Yeah, lucky or whatever. Fancy posing for a selfie with a fan as he walked off the pitch.
Maybe
then
it was somebody he knew, though.
Invaded the
maybe
pitch.
It was somebody he knew.
Well, could have been. I don't know. But anyway, the point is we could come up against him next, and we're not very good against one-man teams.
No, that's true.
Gareth Bale turned us over, and it was only... I mean, do you realise... The 92nd minute is a very important minute for England, this competition. Yeah. In one game, we managed to concede 2 points. Yeah.
Very good.
Or was it 3?
You conceded 2, yeah.
2. In another one, we managed to gain 2 points.
Yes, very good.
And in the third one...
In the third game...
nothing happened in the 92nd minute at all.
So it's pretty flat then.
Yeah, it was flat, yeah. We didn't get anything out of it, you know what I mean?
5 extra minutes as well. Where did that come from?
Don't know. They only played about 4 and 24 and 24 seconds. I noticed it on the clock.
4 and 24?
Yeah,
Why are you talking like some kind of pirate?
4 and 24. Anyway.
Now, look, I've got some more tweets for you here.
OK.
Western says this: next time Porky talks about his Pierre Cardin shirt, the price would have gone up again by another 20 quid. # inflation.
I've got more than one PR Cardin shirt, thank you.
What sort of shirt you got on tonight? Apart from this general hideous one.
Well, I don't know the exact make. It's a designer shirt. Well, I don't know.
You don't know the make?
No.
Well, should I have a look at the collar?
No.
Why not?
Because I'm fed up of you and your grubbing little hands down the back of my collar to try and find out what the label is in my shirt.
I've never put my hands on the back of your collar.
So forget that, pal.
Pete says this: the ulterior motive of Porky's gift to Mike Graham is becoming apparent. # winners and losers. Is that what this is all about?
No, not
yes, it
not
is.
at all.
So
I do not want it included in winners and losers.
No, but you want people to think you're a lovely, kind, generous bloke when everybody knows that's the exact opposite of what you are. Because you might get a few extra points in winners and losers.
Oh, you think that was my only motive, do you?
Well, you're admitting it was a motive then.
It was not a motive at all.
Well, you just said, was it not my only motive?
No, my motive was to make you feel happy on Father's Day because I had been a bit harsh about your parental skills over the years.
A bit harsh?
Over the last year.
You've done nothing but slag me off for years.
I thought I'd put it right.
Really?
It was a gesture of comradeship.
Well, you'd have to give me a bottle of champagne every day for the rest of my life to make up for some of the things
it was a friendly gesture of, unity and that sort of thing. And
absolute cobleros.
And now you're trying to turn it against me by making out that I had some ulterior motive. That's quite disgusting.
Well, it's not my suggestion, it's one of the listeners. John says this: Roy says the victories will come when? In the pointless World Cup 2018 qualifiers in September.
Exactly.
We want you to win now, Roy, he says. Well,
exactly.
That's true. I mean, he talks a lot about hope, doesn't he? He talks a lot about the hope that somehow the goals will come so against somebody. He hopes that the win will come. He keeps saying that he hopes that the results will get better. I mean, is this all the guy's got? Is hope?
Well, you sometimes wonder. I've been looking. You don't worry about the time. I've been looking at a compilation of marks out of 10 that the players got tonight. There's like a dozen or 14 of them. Various people with marks out of 10. The 2 players with the lowest marks are Smalling, and that's probably because of that silly chest back that he tried with Joe Hart, and Wilshere.
Wilshere was awful. I don't even know why he's there. He might as well come home now.
Strangest thing is, they brought Wilshere, and then didn't play him in the first 2 games, except for substitution, and then make him play in the third game. It's all very odd indeed. Very odd thinking, in my view.
Very strange. We've got more to say. Also coming up a little bit later on in this hour, we will be talking to a former England international as well. This is Talk Sport.
And by the way, I've got some fantastic information about what the Mafia are up to at the moment.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I look forward to it. Is that where you got the champagne?
No, but they're setting fire to cats and things.
Tell your tale now, then.
Well, if you want to hear it,
spill your guts.
No, I was going to tell you a bit later in the show, but it is worth telling. I mean, as you know, I keep in touch with...
I'm a bit fed up talking about England already.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's nothing good coming out of it.
No. As you well know, I keep in touch with affairs, all European affairs.
I know you do.
And all kind of things like that.
You've had 1 or 2 of them as well, haven't you?
And of course, I have
European affairs. Have you actually had European affairs? Have you ever had, shall we say, horizontal refreshment with a woman from the continent of Europe?
Yes, indeed, I have. Yes.
From where?
Germany.
Now, you said the other night you didn't think German women were very attractive.
Oh, no, I didn't say that.
No, you did.
Yeah, well, this is on a beach in Mallorca. So you can't really see what they look like at that time of the night.
On a beach?
After a 16-hour bladderation session.
Was she face down or something?
No, but I had double vision at the time. Now then...
so did she, presumably?
Yeah. Now then...
Absolutely shocking confession.
No, what I want to tell you is I was horrified about this. As you know, I'm an animal lover, right?
I know that.
And...
this is not related to this other story.
Sorry?
This is not related to the earlier story.
No, it's not related to the... What earlier story?
Never mind, just carry on.
Yeah, well, I told you about the cats. Now, what happens is, and this is shocking...
Why the Mafia got in for cats?
Well, I'm just about to tell you, because, I get all sorts of information from my friends in naval intelligence. I was down on the coast this weekend.
The old Admiral. How is he?
The Commodore.
The Commodore. Yeah, how is he? Yeah.
Anyway,
has he got his licence back yet?
Hey,
has he got his licence back yet?
His licence back. Yeah. Listen, I'm sorry, this amused me, but I know it shouldn't amuse me. It's all about setting fire to cats, and that's not amusing.
Well, especially since you're such an animal lover.
Well, I am an animal lover, but the cats don't actually get hurt. Yeah. But what amused me was, we've all seen the films, The Godfather 1, Godfather 2.
Funny enough, I watched it on Friday night.
Which one?
Yeah, Godfather 2.
Oh, I love it. That's my favourite film. With Al Pacino, who emerges as Michael Corleone, the most dangerous man in the world.
Well, he's in the first one as well, you know.
Well, I know, but he's not...
the third one.
Yeah, but in the first one, he's not the Mafia boss.
Well, it sort of finishes with him as the boss.
Well, that's right, but in the second one, he exercises his power, he gets rid of Freddie in the lake, and...
Don't give it away.
Makes people go swimming with the fishes. Puts horses' heads in people's beds and all that kind of stuff. But
that was the first one.
Hey?
That was the first one.
Oh, it was the first one, that's right, yeah. But shoots people through the eye when they look up from their sunbed and all that kind of stuff. That was the first one as well, yeah. But what I'm saying is, you know...
Mo Green.
Everything we've seen about the Mafia, including The Sopranos and all that, these guys are ruthless, aren't they?
They absolutely are.
Their latest trick is they seem to be running out of ideas.
I mean, to be fair, there's not much point being in the Mafia unless you're ruthless, really. I think it's one of the first things they say. Yeah. Are you ruthless?
Yeah.
No.
But anyway, they seem to have changed tack a little bit, because what they're into now, is kidnapping cats, in Sicily. And then what they do is they tie a length of rope behind the cat and they put a petrol-soaked rag.
Why?
Well, I'm about to tell you. Then they set fire to the petrol-soaked rag and they sort of startle the cat, by giving it a sort of electric shock or something.
Right.
And it goes running off into the forest.
Yeah.
And then because...
The forest?
Yeah, because it's tinder dry in Sicily... Yeah. It sets the forest on fire, which is the whole plan.
Oh, I see.
Because you won't believe...
Why do they want to do that?
Because the Mafia are into reforestation.
Reforestation?
They've invested millions in reforestation in Sicily.
What, you mean planting more trees?
Planting more trees.
Well, why are they burning them down, then?
Because they're growing their trees in tree reserves, reservations, and they need somebody to order them to sell them.
Oh, so you mean if it's not one of their tree reservations, they're burning it down?
That's right. And not only that, but they need
like extortion and gambling and prostitution.
This is what I'm saying. And like murder and all this, So they need the Sicilian government they need the Sicilian government to start ordering like thousands more trees because they've grown all these trees with the reforestation programme they're running, but nobody's buying them.
Well, where do they want to sell them? I don't understand. Why would they want to sell trees?
They want to sell them to the Sicily.
I thought it was olive oil they were in.
No. Yeah, let me read a bit of it. Now then, Giuseppe Antocci.
Who?
Giuseppe.
Giuseppe.
Giuseppe, that's him, yeah. Giuseppe Antocci, who's director of the...
Doesn't sound very Italian.
He is Italian. Director of the Nebrodi Regional Park was talking after firefighters put out a spate of forest fires across the island last week. They are thought to have been caused by the Mafia. They forced the evacuation...
What's you heard anything so ridiculous?
No, I know. This is it, right?
Sure this is not the plot of some Montalbano show?
No.
Show, Montalbano.
No.
By the way.
No.
He's an Italian detective.
Oh, is he?
But he's always rogering somebody.
Oh, is he?
And he's always, missing the job.
Is he really? Yeah. Doesn't make him a bad person.
No, not a very good detective, though.
Now, one of the mob's arson techniques is to tie a petrol-soaked rag attached to a cat.
You think they can come up with something slightly better?
Well,
than that?
I know. It's not exactly Godfather, is it? And then to make the cat run into the forest. As the rag burns, the cat flees in terror with a burning rag behind it. Obviously, it keeps running to try and get away from it doesn't realise it's tied to it. You know what I mean?
Well, hang on. I've got Steve here. So wouldn't the spark from the electric shock ignite the petrol-soaked cat?
No, not really, because it's a cattle prod type thing.
Cattle prod.
Yeah, but anyway, it sets fire to everything it touches. Now that makes it harder for the investigators to figure out where the fire was started, and unfortunately, the cat eventually is incinerated in the fire and doesn't get out.
Right.
So they can't find out what caused the fire. Now, what happened
Well,
is...
they find the remains of the cat, though.
Well,
I think forensics are quite good now.
Yeah, but all those trees that come down probably covers it all up.
I had a tree come down actually in the garden yesterday.
Hey?
A tree came down in the garden.
Oh, I'll tell you about that. You can tell me that in a minute. Yeah. Anyway, Alfredo Morvillo. Yeah, chief magistrate in Sicily, says the Mafia had invested in reforestation companies and are looking to cash in on replacing all the burnt trees. At the Nebrodi Park, the Cosa Nostra clans have already tried to murder Mr. Antocci, so it is getting nasty.
I can't believe any of this.
That.
Why on earth have they got into the tree business? What's going on?
Well, I don't know. I'm telling you. So anyway, they've tried to murder old Antoshi, the magistrate, right?
I'm sure that's not the right way to pronounce his name.
Here. Oh, we are. It's getting a bit more mafiosi now.
Okay.
They recently ambushed his car and sprayed it with bullets. But what are you laughing at?
Because it's just a ridiculous story.
But fortunately, a passing police car. It's always handy to have a passing police car.
It is, yeah.
Somebody's trying to murder you. yeah.
Well, they thought they'd pull over, did they?
Eh?
They thought they'd pull over the cops. Oh, look, there's a guy being sprayed with machine gun fire.
Passing police car intervened and saved his life. Now, the mobsters are furious with Mr. Antochi, this is the chief magistrate, after he tried to put a stop to their long-standing habit of renting grazing land. God knows why. Renting grazing land in the park, which was really a racket to siphon off millions of pounds in EU farming subsidies. Right. So that's what.
That's interesting.
That's what the mafiosi are into.
So that's what they're now into is siphoning off some of these grants.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that makes a bit more sense.
Yeah. So to have so many fires across Sicily at the same time, help fan the flames is no coincidence. We believe there are various reasons for this wave of attacks. And here at the Brody, my campaign against the Mafia will go on, says Mr. Nocci. So he's a good guy.
Who's Mr. Nocci? Which one's he?
He's the chief magistrate. Antochi. Mr. Antochi.
Yeah, that's
Mr.
what I mean.
Antochi,
Nocci's a different guy.
And Leo Luca Orlando. What's your problem?
Where did you get this rubbish?
Leo Luca Orlando, who's mayor of Parma.
Right.
Is that in Sicily?
Parma in Sicily, yeah.
Yeah, Parma, that's right.
Yeah.
Also blamed the arson on corrupt forestry workers who he says are being paid by the Mafia to set fire to the trees. So it's all a bit of a mess.
It is a bit of a mess. But there we are. I had no idea the Mafia were into such wide and varied agricultural sort of businesses, right?
No, I
Johnny
agree.
says this. You guys must have been in New York when John Gotti was at large. I actually was.
Yeah, we were, yeah.
I walked into him one night, actually, which was very, very unsettling. Yeah.
Where was that?
It was on, like, do you remember that? There was an Indian restaurant that we used to go to.
Yeah.
I was with my ex-wife at the time.
Yeah.
It was on, like, 57th Street, that road that went towards
Do you know you used to use that? Stuart from The Mirror used to go there all the time.
Yeah, and it was a very nice Indian restaurant. And I was walking, we'd come out of the Indian restaurant, I was walking towards 2nd Avenue to get a taxi home.
Yeah.
And this limo kind of pulled across the pavement, like they sometimes do.
Yes.
As if it was going into an underground car park.
Yeah.
And then it just stopped in the middle of the pavement.
Near you?
Well, just in front of me.
Yes.
Literally.
Yes.
And as I was kind of just, effing and blinding and saying, what the hell are you doing? Like you do in New York. Start shouting at him.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
All 4 doors burst open. And 4 very big guys got out, including John Gotti, who got out of the door right next to me and stood there looking right at me as I was sort of in mid-F word. Yeah. So sort of about to give them all a hard time for, getting in my way.
I mean, did they stop to sanction you, or did they stop in there anyway?
They were getting out to go to dinner, obviously.
I see, okay.
So the guy had pulled into the pavement.
Yeah, I see,
and instead of just stopping by the side, he'd pulled right into the pavement.
Yeah.
So they were getting out right in front. And so our eyes just met. And he just gave me this very cold stare.
So Gotti didn't smile or anything?
No, he just stared right at me, straight into my eyes.
Right.
And I stopped swearing.
And you just kept walking?
And I just kind of got out of the way.
And worried about your shoulder blades as you were disappearing down the pavements. Yeah, down the road.
I made sure that I walked quite swiftly away from him. But I covered quite a lot of that.
Well, he sorted out our favourite restaurant, Sparks, didn't he? By spraying it with a machine gun to kill a couple of his enemies.
I was on the spot for that as well.
Right,
I'll tell you more about that later. Yeah. Coming up next, though, we're going to talk to Terry Fenwick, who used to play for England.
Excellent.
And they used to do more than just draw 0-0 with Slovakia.
Yeah.
This is Talk Sport.
The Two Mikes, simulcast across the UK on Talk Sport and Talk Radio.
We are the Two Mikes, winners and losers coming up a little bit later on. Some very good tweets coming in on the subject of your Mafia story. One from Becky who says, what happened to plain crime, drug smuggling, racketeering? Now the Mafia are into burning cats, trees and EU grants.
Exactly.
Hashtag porcanori.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's that's why I told you about it. I thought, well, it's not like it used to be, is it? What happened to the concrete shoes and the concrete overcoat?
Well, yeah.
You know, we only just had the first evidence in America of them using concrete shoes.
Well, they've obviously worked out that there's a lot of ways of making money, which don't necessarily involve actually hurting anyone.
Yeah.
So hurting a lot of cats. But we will
Well, hang on. Trying to murder magistrates isn't exactly friendly, is it?
Well, they've always been doing that, though.
But
David said, "Hi, Mike. Can you give my beautiful wife-to-be Claire a shout-out for getting pregnant with my child? She's asleep and I can't."
Oh.
So, well, congratulations.
What's her name?
Claire, I believe.
Claire?
Claire, yes.
Claire, congratulations on imminent motherhood. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Right, OK.
I don't know how imminent it is, but
OK, well...
It's not very well put, the way to put it. But anyway.
It doesn't matter. When it happens, Claire, very best wishes to you, my dear.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Let's talk to Terry Fenwick, who is, of course, a former England international. Let's find out from him what he made of the performance in the first three games with Monsieur Hodgson. Mm-hmm. Terry, very good morning to you. Welcome.
How are you, fellas? How are you doing?
Yeah, very well indeed. Thank you for joining us.
Very well indeed. There seems to be an argument going on between England fans about, England have qualified. Doesn't matter if they're not in first or second place. They're in second place as it happens. You know, they've been very unlucky. They just don't seem to have quite clicked when it was the right time to click. What do you think of the three games, Terry?
What do I think of the three games? I think we've got a fabulous squad of players. Mm-hmm. And we're miles better than any other team in the group. And I think we should be very disappointed not leading the group, as Wales are doing at the moment. But having said that, we're through to the next round of games, and I think it's about bringing the best team together. I think Roy Hodgson, with all due respect, I think he made a colossal mistake changing the game too early against Russia when we had that 1-0 lead. Yeah. And I think he's been overprotective. And we end up drawing a game that we should have won 3 points in. Give us confidence going into the last two games against inferior opposition.
I mean, Terry, if you're saying we've got a great squad, I'm sorry to interrupt there, you say we've got a great squad, but then you say we're not getting the results we should, then presumably you put the blame for that at the feet of the coach.
Yeah, I would have to say that. I think we've got the youngest squad in the whole tournament. And when I look at the squad, with all due respect, people like Raheem Sterling, he's a great player, but he's not playing at his top form because his confidence has been knocked at Manchester City. He's not played in the last games. And we've not played players that are producing.
When you say...
And for me...
When you say producing what? Their best form, or producing an understanding with their fellow players in the squad? Not producing a system that Mr. Hodgson should have told them to adhere to?
Absolutely, Mike. When you get to a knockout competition, which is what we're in now, it's not about who's done great all season. It's about who's performing now.
But if you look but if you look at what's been going on, Terry, you know, he brought Jamie Vardy on in the game against Wales. A lot of people thought he should have started with Jamie Vardy. Jamie Vardy got a great goal that was very important. You know, Daniel Sturridge then got another one. But, you know, in this last game, last night against Slovakia, Jamie Vardy, I mean, he had a couple of chances, but he didn't really seem to get on the ball very much. He seems to have turned Harry Kane into a dead loss. And I mean, I don't understand why these players don't play.
But he was playing to a different midfield system, wasn't he?
Well, he was, yeah. But, I mean, I don't understand how they can go from being these, you know, top-class scorers in what is supposedly one of the greatest leagues in the world to not really being able to take many chances.
Yeah, well, I would have to recount on that one. We've got terrific players playing at a pace that's quicker than anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
And we slow the pace of when we play internationally, we slow the pace of our game down to suit the opposition. It doesn't suit us.
Yeah. Well, the one chance that Vardy got,
sitting back.
The one chance that Vardy got, you know, it was because he was put through over the top like he is for Leicester, and it was the best chance that he had. He never got another one.
Yeah, listen, with all due respect, he came on against Wales. Within 2 minutes, he had a fight with the centre back to make sure he knew he was playing.
Right.
5 minutes later, he scores a goal.
Right.
He's made an impact. Now, Jamie Vardy's played in a system with Leicester City all season where they defended in the last third of the game, and he's been the sole outlet over the top, and he's route one, go for goal.
Yeah.
England are dominating games. We're dominating games at the moment, and certainly in the first game against Russia, we created 5 or 6 great chances. We've got nobody in the box.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Now, Jamie Vardy is one of them players that will get himself on the end of things. He might be caught offside. He might give a free kick, a foul away here and there. But he'll make defenders uncomfortable. And through that, he'll make more chances and he will score goals.
You're absolutely right. Steve, answer me this question, please. Some so-called... Sorry?
It's Terry.
Terry, I'm awfully sorry. Terry, answer me this question, please. Some so-called experts we're talking to tonight are saying, oh, don't worry, when England play better teams, they will do better themselves because these better teams, when have 10 men behind the ball, they'll come at England. Well, that then says, OK, that's going to put our defence to the test. Is our defence good enough?
I think we've looked relatively, apart from the goalkeeper, we've looked relatively solid across the back four. The goalkeeper is pivotal. If he's not on top form, if he doesn't give his back four confidence, which I apologise for saying this because I want us to do very well in this tournament.
Yeah.
But Hart gives me no confidence. My heart to my mouth every time the ball's in the box because he's calamity James all over again.
Yeah.
I'm worried about that.
Yeah.
But I think we've got solid four defenders that are doing a solid job. And, my God, our right back was the best forward we had in the game last game. There's no doubt. Kyle Walker was storming forward, creating more than we had in midfield.
Yeah.
I just think we were in a position whereby I think that's all nonsense. Put us up against a better team, we will perform better. I think we performed great in the first game. And we should have come out of that.
But without scoring any goals for the whole first half, despite all the chances. That seems to be the problem, doesn't it, Terry?
No, listen, with all due respect, Mike, I thought the manager made horrific decisions to change the game tactically as he did.
Yeah.
Get the game over the line. He's bringing Rooney off and he's changing the system. Win the first 3 points of the tournament and settle everyone down.
Yeah.
That would have been me. And I thought he made critical decisions at the wrong time. And we now are typical England, under pressure to qualify even. Now that we're through, he's thrown 5 or 6 players in the frame there. But I can't agree with that. You build on games, wins, builds confidence, gains the whole support of the country moving forward. And I just think that's where we are at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, as a player, presumably, Terry, I mean, you played in a couple of World Cups. I mean, you played against Maradona, so you know all about, attacking teams and all that. But, in the end, if you're a player and you're not sure whether you're going to be playing from one game to the next, that can't be good, can it?
No, not at all. Listen, I played under the best British manager for a long time, Terry Fenwick. He was a great coach and great manager. Bobby Robson wasn't such a great coach, but he was a great man-to-man manager. And these guys would set you up. You knew where you were going. You knew what your job was. You knew what the process of the team. This is what we're looking to achieve. There was a system of playing players where we all knew what we were doing. When you change so many players, you keep on top of that. Listen, we've just gone, with all due respect to Roy Hodgson, we've just come out of a World Cup where we didn't get out the group stages. We've now got a whole set of new games. We're in a new competition. Shouldn't we know where we are, what the best team, the best players, the system of play?
Absolutely.
But he doesn't know that.
Absolutely.
He doesn't know that, so that is the problem, isn't it?
I am flabbergasted. I mean, pissed off is an understatement because I look at all the great players that we've got. We've got some sensational players there.
Yeah.
It seems incredible. Terry, listen, thank you so much for taking the time.
Terry,
to talk
thanks
to
very
us.
much indeed.
Terry Fenwick there. It's a shame you called him Steve.
Well, listen, that was do you know what it was? That was a mental aberration.
Yeah, really?
Because T and ST are not that far apart, if you see what I mean.
T and ST.
And I'm sorry about that. And of course,
a cup of ST.
Sorry?
Would you like a cup of ST?
In a minute. But of course, you see, people who are
time,
guests... I'm just pointing out, people who are guests on this show talk to us. All I have to say is yes, Mike.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike, because we're both called Mike.
That's because
so
we're helpful
so
like
so
that.
and the other thing is
you can also call everybody Steve.
Sorry,
Steve Sherwood.
sorry, we're in a new studio. I don't have.
We've been here for ages.
I don't have an electronic screen in front of me detailing exactly the details of the people we're talking to all the time.
You've got a running order.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's not always suitable. And of course, I know Terry Fenwick is Terry Fenwick. I've known him for years.
Yeah, great.
No problem at all.
Well done.
Yeah.
This is Talk Sport.
Yeah.
This is Talk Sport. We are the two Mikes. Coming up in the next hour, we're going to be talking about a tax on sugary drinks, actually, because you know that Philadelphia has become the first city in the United States of America to bring it in.
Really?
So it's becoming, every other place they've tried to bring it in, they haven't. And I know that being a great campaigner against obesity,
yes,
you'll be quite interested in that story.
Well, I don't like government legislation against the freedom of somebody to choose whether they want to get fat or not, to be honest.
Right. So despite the fact that you're against people being obese,
yes,
you
I
don't
am.
want anyone to legislate about it.
Well, I don't think so. I don't like the nanny state. If you can't work out
that Swanee thing's banned, though.
No, I don't. If you can't work out that fatness makes you unattractive, both to yourself, to a mirror, to members of the opposite sex, to partners in life, to everybody who looks at you, you look gross. If you can't accept that and the fact that you are burdening the state with your ill health and burdening yourself with ill health and an early death, then I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do about it for you.
Chris says, what on earth is Porky on about? Trees, cats, he needs to be sectioned. That's quite a good one.
No.
Like
Sectioned. I like that. That's a bit of a joke, isn't it?
Chris says, geez, we think Roy Hodgson's got problems. Compared to Porky, he's relatively sane.
Yeah, really? I wouldn't say... well, I mean, look, there's no question of my sanity or Roy Hodgson's sanity. All I did was tell you about a situation that was arising, which I felt we should know about.
My sanity is not in question.
My sanity is not in question, absolutely right.
Marco says this about my encounter with Mr. Gotti. Smart move and a lucky escape there, Mike. Liam Gallagher picked a fight with German mafioso and got his teeth knocked out.
He did, actually. I remember that in a hotel, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Didn't he ask him to quieten down or something?
Yeah, he got around with him in some Munich or something like that in Germany. Sharky says this: is this branch of the mafia involved in this forestry scam called Tree Fellas?
Tree Fellas, I love it. Is it. That's very good. Well done.
Patrick says, Giuseppe, Porky's oratory skills make me laugh. No wonder Rooney Tunes is available for 1 penny on Amazon.
Really?
A bit below the belt. This is Talk Sport. We are the two Mikes, and somebody sent me a guy on Twitter called Caricature sent us a picture of the outside of Sparks Steakhouse. Look at that.
Oh yeah, blimey!
Because the reason I was going to tell you about that story was I was in Costello's, funnily enough,
right?
And it was about 4:30 one particular afternoon.
Yes.
When Big Paul Castellano was down giving his evidence to the courthouse downtown.
Yes.
And the phone rang. In the booth.
Yes, because there didn't have any mobile phones in those days.
People used to ring either the bar phone or the phone actually inside the booth.
That's right.
And the phone call was for Mickey Brennan.
Right.
Because Mickey Brennan was in there, he was a photographer.
Yes.
And it was Bob Young, who was the picture editor of the New York Post.
That's right.
To say, look, we've just, because I used to listen to police radio all the time.
That's right.
We've just heard that Big Paul Castellano has been shot outside of Sparks. Can you get round there and take a picture? Because it was 2 blocks away.
It was, yeah.
So me and Mickey Brennan went round there, and we got there so quickly that the guy was, because there was the chauffeur who was like lying... basically with his feet in the front of the car, and the rest of him on the pavement, the blood streaming out of his head, and Big Paul Castellano, who was just shot basically through the windscreen, just lying there dead with blood pouring out of him
in the car,
in the car, and the 2 guys who did it just walked off into the sort of Manhattan rush hour pedestrian traffic.
That's right,
and were never caught,
never seen again. That's right.
Extraordinary scene.
It is alleged that John Gotti was sitting in a car parked on the other side of the street to witness it.
Well, I don't know about that,
but that was never proven.
I didn't see him.
No, absolutely.
But it was quite a sight.
Yeah,
I have to say.
Yeah, it was. Did you ever recover from it?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was, you and I have seen some pretty horrible things in our lives, and I know we sometimes joke about it, but I mean, you can't, it's part of the job, isn't it?
No, I totally agree.
I mean, I didn't feel, I filed a piece to the New York Post, I filed a piece to London, I went back to the pub.
That's right, good man, well done. Absolutely.
You feel at all traumatised.
To get your nerves in shape.
Yes, exactly right. Now, talking about cars, I nearly didn't get here tonight.
Why? What happened?
Well, I was about to pull out, because I thought to myself, where do I watch the game?
Yes.
And I thought, well, if I watch the game in Sussex, it finishes about 10 o'clock, I could race up the motorway.
driving up. Yeah, but you don't want to be doing that.
But, you know, they have a habit of closing the A21 for no reason.
Unbelievable.
Or the M25, and I thought, you know, I might be cutting it a bit fine. So the best thing is if I leave there in time to get here for 8 o'clock to watch the game in London.
Yes.
So all sorts of readiness goes on, and say goodbye to the kids, 5 to 6, get in the car, start backing it out the driveway.
Yeah.
And I noticed there was this really sort of thick, what looked like a sort of tyre, it's almost like a skid mark on the driveway.
Yeah, what was all about?
And I thought, that's a bit odd. I don't remember seeing that. And I was thinking maybe one of the construction, you're going to do some construction down on the farm. You know, I thought maybe one of the trucks has done it. Yeah. And I had some music on in the car, so I couldn't really hear anything. And I'm backing out, and I turned the car around, and the wheel's kind of dragging to the right. The steering wheel. And I thought, suddenly I put the music off, and then suddenly heard the noise of the, you know, when you've got a flat tyre.
Yeah, it's like you're dragging a bag of sand along with you.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So I got out of the car, looked at it, completely flat, front right tyre, absolutely nothing in it at all.
So you had a puncture somewhere.
So I'd driven the car at, say, I don't know, 3:30 in the afternoon to pick the kids up from school.
Yes.
It was fine. I'd parked it, it was fine.
Yes.
And so obviously something had got into it. But I thought, well, you know, I can't now wait for the guy to come and fix it.
Why did you just change the wheel?
Well, I don't change wheels.
Doesn't have a spare wheel?
There's a spare wheel underneath the back of it.
You should have got on with it then.
No, because I had to find the jack. I mean, you know, I didn't have time for all that.
Yeah.
You know,
either that, you could have done it yourself in 20 minutes, or you know, do the old, I don't get my hands dirty routine and call somebody to do it for you.
Well, have you ever changed a tyre?
Well, I've not needed to.
No, you never do. You take it to quick fit all the time.
Yeah, I do, but that's because I can't mend punctures.
You can't pay a guy extra. Well, why are you giving me a hard time?
Yeah, well, because I can't mend a puncture, but the point is...
Well, it's typical of you.
I've always managed to get... Hang on, I've always managed to get a quick fit where my man, my chap, my good guy there, my technician, whatever you want to call him...
The guy that you pay over the odds for.
Yeah, well, of course I do, because he does a good job. I've managed to get there, and he's going to change it. But, I mean, if I was in the middle of the country like you are and had a flat tyre, I would attempt to change it myself just to make my car mobile again.
Incorrect. Because what happened is that I've got a breakdown service, right? So I just call them, and they normally come within 60 minutes.
And did they?
Which is fine. Yeah, they did.
Even at home?
Yeah,
because some of them don't. Some of them don't come to home.
They come wherever you are.
Be careful about that, mate.
Well, why would I be careful? They come wherever I am.
All right. You say
that's
so.
part of the deal because I've got that black account I told you about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the black account.
Yeah, the one that you're so jealous of. You haven't got one.
I'm not jealous of it at all.
What have you done with your chair, by the way?
It's just dropped a little bit because I was at the wrong...
Suddenly, I can't see you now.
No, I can see you perfectly. Anyway, it's the wrong angle for the...
I see. So anyway, so I just had to jump in the Land Rover and drive that up. And then by the time I got to London, they'd come and fix it. But here's the interesting bit, right?
Yes.
The guy said, there's nothing wrong with the tyre. Something has gone into it and come back out again. And so he's given it a temporary repair and said you'll be able to get this repaired at any decent place because what they do is they repair it temporarily for you.
They can plug it, you know.
Yeah, I know they can, yeah. They can do all sorts of things. But the point is that he said that whatever has caused the puncture is no longer in the tyre. Because, you know, sometimes there's a big plank of wood in there.
No,
a nail. Or a nail.
Yeah.
Well, so it can be either. But the point is it was neither of those.
Oh.
So it's a bit of a mystery as to what it actually was.
It is a mystery because every time I've had a puncture, the guy's actually removed the thing that's caused the puncture and then plugged the hole.
Yes, exactly.
And the thing is, the only time I had to buy a tyre for like 120 quid or something...
That's a bit of a cheap tyre for your car, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was 160, actually. I can't remember. I think it was 160.
Is it by Pierre Cardin?
No. And he said, look, we've put 2 plugs in this tyre already. It's very unsafe to even have 2. Well, not unsafe to have 2. 2's all right, but you can't have 3, so I had to have a new tyre, but that was it.
Right.
Now, I can tell you an amazing thing about...
Well, I haven't finished the story yet.
Oh, well, please finish.
Because one of the reasons why I wouldn't have wanted to drive it up to London is it's got one of those, what they call, space-saving tyres.
Yes.
So when you put it on, it's underneath the back of the car.
Right.
But when you put it on, it's only half the width.
It's only half the width. Well, you can't drive up to London in that.
You couldn't... I wouldn't want to drive on a motorway with that.
No, but you could have driven it to the nearest quick fit
but
place.
except around about 6 o'clock in that part of the world, there's not much open.
Yeah, well, you say that, you see, but I mean, I'd have found one. But
anyway, so luckily, a mother of my children's going to sort it all out for me tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll just keep the Range Rover.
Well, won't these guys turn up again and put the proper tyre on, or has she got to take it somewhere?
No, she'll take it somewhere.
Where's she got to take it?
Well, she'll take it somewhere down there tomorrow.
Well,
later on today.
So I thought you said you had this service where they do it all for you.
Well, no, they did. They came and repaired the tyre.
Right,
but they gave it what they call a temporary repair.
And you think it's repaired now?
And they say, I mean, I've had cases in the past, like when I used to have a Citroen, which doesn't have a spare tyre, it just has that gel that you put inside the tyre.
Yeah.
Right, one, I couldn't find the gel. and 2, because it was a wall of the tyre problem.
Yes.
We had to go to Quick Fit and actually buy a tyre and then come back and put it on.
I see.
Which took hours.
So
I haven't got that sort of time.
So there is a Quick Fit down there, is there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you get to a Quick Fit.
Yeah, but it's just not open after 6 o'clock.
Yeah, OK, but you won't be sort of mocking me in future for going to a Quick Fit, because you always have done in the past.
No, I mock you for going to a Quick Fit, but there's nothing wrong with your tyres.
No, there's plenty wrong
and
with
then paying the guy extra over and above what the bill is.
I have an amazing story to tell you about a car journey.
Go on.
And I meant to tell you yesterday, but we got so caught up in the emotion of me giving you that bottle of champagne.
Uh-huh.
Have we told the audience about that tonight?
What's that?
The bottle of champagne I
I
gave
think
you?
it's been mentioned,
okay, yeah. We got so tied up in the emotion of me giving you that bottle of champagne on Father's Day to illustrate the camaraderie between us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I didn't tell you this amazing story.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you've got time for it. You might want to hold on to it and do it in a minute.
No, it's an amazing story.
Well, it might be an amazing story, but that's why I'm saying you might wish to take more time rather than a minute.
Well, okay, we could. Do you
want to start it now and then we can carry it on? Or
it's a spooky story.
Spooky?
It's a spooky story.
Well, in that case, I think we should wait.
And it involves me in a car at 5:30 in the morning on a lonely road without hardly any traffic around at all.
Really?
In the shadow of a cathedral.
Oh, wow. Well, I think we should definitely hold on to our horses or hats or something for that one. Porky will tell us about his spooky tale coming up next.
The Two Mics, simulcast across the UK on Talk Sport and Talk Radio.
This time is coming like a ghost town. All the clubs are being closed down. This place is coming like a ghost town.
This is Talk Sport. We are the Two Mics. Coming up, we're going to be talking to a special guest over in the United States, Jill Trigg, who's a nutritionist on Philadelphia introducing a sugar tax. Now, you've got a spooky story to tell us.
Well, it's an amazing story.
Like that song to go along with it, by the way.
Yeah, what was that song?
You don't know that one?
No.
Ghost Town.
Ghost Town, that's it, yeah. Well, it wasn't not exactly a ghost, but it's very, very strange, right? Now,
When did this happen?
Hey?
When did this happen?
This happened just Sunday.
All right.
Now, on Sunday, obviously, we're doing the warm-up show.
What were you doing out at 5:30 in the morning?
Well, I was driving up from the coast because I get up at 4:30.
Oh, I see. Well, hang on, it's only a couple of hours from there, isn't it?
It's about an hour and 10 minutes, that's all.
The show didn't start till 11.
No, but I need to get back to London, sort things out and, get my act into gear. Everything, everything that I do in life.
I find your life very bizarre.
No, not at all. I have to get into the swing of things very early on to keep ahead of the game.
I see.
There is so much going on, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So anyway, so it was a lovely morning.
It's getting darker in here, by the way.
No, it's getting darker in here.
Sure.
No.
Okay.
So it's a lovely morning. I'm driving up the A3.
Yeah.
And this is amazing. I was listening to Virgin, right, which is one of our sister stations.
Indeed it is.
Because, to be honest, I'd heard all the news overnight and I didn't want any more, so I was listening to Virgin.
All right.
The record that was playing was Billy Joel.
Right.
I
thought you told me they didn't play anything more than 5 years old.
Well, this was a Billy Joel record. I don't know how old Billy Joel is.
What sort of period?
It was Billy Joel from the 80s, really, because it wasn't Uptown Girl, but it was that other one.
Always a Woman to Me.
Sorry?
Always a Woman to Me.
No, it was the one about Leave Me Alone, I'm a Family Man or something. Or what's that?
You sure that's not Hall & Oates?
No, that's Hall & Oates, yeah. It was.
I can't believe you know that one. How do you know Hall & Oates? I don't know any music.
Hang on, was it Don't Go Changing My Persuasion?
To try to please me.
That's it.
I love
that was
you just the way you are.
I love you just the way you are.
Okay. Isn't that from... that's from The Stranger, I think, isn't it?
Is it? Well, anyway, this is what's playing. Now then, you won't believe this. As I get to the part of the A3 which goes past Guildford, which is really...
I thought you said it was on a quiet country road.
No, it's on a quiet road. I didn't say it was a country road.
Right, okay.
Quiet road.
Right.
It's a double...
it's a dual
carriageway, so there's two lanes each way.
And very fast road.
Yeah, but there is no other... Well, it's not, because it's down to 50 there.
Right.
Okay, and there's no other traffic around. So I'm complying with the speed limit, doing 47 miles an hour,
Amazing.
right? Yeah,
47?
absolutely. Yeah.
There's that number again.
And as I come round the bend, and I see... the cathedral up on the hill.
Because you've got dawn coming up, I suppose, haven't you?
Well, dawn was already up, actually, but it was a lovely morning.
Yeah.
But the point is that it's the ugliest cathedral in the world.
Do you think?
Oh, it's horrible. It's square, box-shaped. It's got no architectural merit.
Really?
I don't know who built it, but they built it for, like, nothing, and it's a hideous building, you know.
Built it for nothing.
No, I know a lot about cathedrals,
Do you?
and that's hideous.
We should do we agreed to do a quiz on Sunday, but I can't remember what it was on.
Yeah, I can.
What was it?
It was on the Great Lakes, but it's a
yeah.
stupid subject because it's too expansive. But anyway, so you won't believe what happens. All of a sudden... oh, excuse me.
You're right.
Excuse me.
So you're being struck down. This is like the Omen.
Yeah.
You know, if I take a picture of you with a big spear going down the back of your shoulder.
No, don't worry about that. Now then, my radio in my car is so sophisticated that twice an hour, whatever I'm listening to, suddenly changes and I get traffic reports.
Don't go changing.
Yeah, that's right. I get traffic reports of the locality. Do you get that?
Well, you only get that if you've got the setting fixed so that you get traffic reports.
Well, I don't have a setting
yes,
that
you do.
I want to fix. Hang on,
you can take the setting off. So
right. Well, I don't have to do that, so it doesn't matter. But I mean,
well, we can find somebody who can show you how to do it.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So anyway, I'm quite used to whatever I'm listening to suddenly being interrupted by another voice.
Yeah. It was designed by Edward Mouth, by the way.
What, Guildford Cathedral? Yeah,
whoever he is.
Anyway, you won't believe what happens next.
I won't.
As I'm driving along, my radio, which is, highly sophisticated, very expensive radio,
right,
suddenly changes, and guess what comes on?
The traffic report.
No.
No.
This is the amazing thing.
Okay, what?
Abide with me.
Oh, yeah.
Fast falls the even song.
Are you sure that's the right words?
Abide with me. And so it goes on.
Right.
So I'm thinking...
So you're tuned into some sort of Christian station.
Hang on. I'm thinking to myself, what's this? And, it's so unusual. Where's this come from?
Right.
When the song was finished, and it goes on for about...
It's quite a long song.
About 90 seconds.
Okay.
Well, I must... I think I don't think it started the song. Came in the middle of it, all that. A voice then said... That was the choir of Guildford City Cathedral singing the Elgar song "Abide with Me."
Right.
And then it switched back to Billy Joel.
Really?
I mean, it was amazing.
Wow.
How come?
Have you got it set to a sort of change on the station when you come into a particular locale or something like that?
No.
Normally that would be the traffic, wouldn't it? Maybe there was a station that normally does traffic, but in fact there wasn't any.
How could it be? And how come, as I'm passing Guildford Cathedral, the choir of Guildford City Cathedral suddenly burst out of my radio and start singing "Abide with Me"?
I've no idea.
Which, by the way, is one of my favourite hymns. In fact, my favourite hymn. And what's more, when I last did my will, specified that I wanted that to be the opening song at my funeral.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is spooky.
Well, exactly.
You put me in it, by the way, your will.
I can't tell you anything about that because it's a confidential
not
document.
It's not a confidential
document. It only
document.
becomes a public document upon my death, so you'll find out then.
That is spooky, though.
Do you not think that's weird?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, it's the weirdest things that I've ever come across. And then for the rest of the journey, of course, my concentration on driving and the traffic had all gone. I thought, how did that happen?
Did it change again at any other point on the journey?
No.
So
I didn't get any traffic reports
really?
at all. I didn't get any traffic reports at all. I usually get traffic reports when I'm in central London because, you're competing with BBC London and all that kind of stuff. They're all fine. And you just have to, press a button and they go away again.
Yeah.
But nothing happened on my journey home.
Yeah.
I was listening, happily to Billy Joel and a bit of sort of 80s and something like that. And then this suddenly came in.
Yeah.
The choir of Guildford City Cathedral as I was passing the cathedral and looking at it up on the hill.
Could it have been like Radio 4 or 3 or something like that?
No, it couldn't have been. You don't get any music on Radio 4 or Radio 3 or anything.
You sometimes get like the odd religious programme, don't you?
No.
On Sunday morning.
It was absolutely amazing. I've no idea why it happened and I can't figure it out. And it would be no good me looking at my radio to sort of work out, I wonder what frequency I was on and all that. Because you see, my radio just has a list of stations. It doesn't actually have, medium wave, long wave,
accidentally
FM.
Hit like some kind of search
No.
thing.
No.
You know how your car, as you say, very sophisticated.
Yeah.
I mean, you could touch something on the steering wheel and it could suddenly search for the next station.
Well, why would it then come back to the original station and start playing Billy Joel again?
You may have done some kind of. I mean, it may have some kind of setting which just lets you sample something for 90
honestly,
seconds.
it was the strangest thing.
Yeah.
It really was. And I've been
how about this?
puzzling about it ever since.
Glenn,
yeah.
How weird that you mentioned the Omen while talking about Guildford Cathedral as it was in the film.
What was?
Guildford Cathedral.
No.
Yeah, it was.
It couldn't be. The Omen was filmed in America, wasn't it?
No, The Omen was filmed in London.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, he was the American ambassador to London.
Oh, that's right. Of course
I've
he
just
was,
been past the Guildford thing that was on Radio 3 on Sunday morning.
Right, yeah.
So that may have been somehow. You must have somehow got Radio 3 on.
No. I didn't. It wasn't Radio.
No, I mean, how could you not know about
Radio
The
3?
Omen? The Omen, right, is about Gregory Peck, who is the American ambassador to London.
Oh, okay.
Because remember when the woman hangs herself out the window, that's in their house in St John's Wood.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
You've never seen The Omen?
I'm confusing it with the one where the girl's head turns round all the way.
That's The Exorcist.
The Exorcist, that's right.
Yeah, that was in Washington, D.C.
That was in Washington, D.C., that's right. Yeah.
All these devils look alike.
My God, was that... And Guildford Cathedral was in The Omen.
Isn't that weird? That's even more spooky.
Good God.
Am I on Songs of Praise, says Thomas.
There's something going on here.
There is.
There is.
Well, maybe it's something to do with... it's the summer solstice today, which we haven't mentioned either.
Summer solstice,
Because it's Druids Day down at Stonehenge.
No, you won't believe this, right?
June the 21st.
You won't believe this.
Yeah.
I was reading a report today about the summer solstice, and apparently it's going to be a magnificent solstice because there's a strawberry moon tonight.
That's right, strawberry moon, yeah.
Right, so strawberry
what
moon.
is that exactly?
Well, the moon goes like a pink colour.
Yeah, because it's different from because we've had the red moon, haven't we?
We have, and the blue moon.
And we've had the blue moon. So now we've got strawberry moon.
Strawberry moon.
When I was growing up, we just had the moon.
Yeah.
Now we've got about 8 different moons.
But anyway, you won't believe this again. This is such a coincidence.
You think you're becoming more spiritually aware?
Well, I don't know, I'm reading a report in an influential newspaper today. I think it was the Times or something like that. Okay, and they're talking about this being the most unusual longest day ever, and it will attract even more hippies to Stonehenge because they go there for the summer solstice.
Be there now, I think.
That's right, but because of the strawberry moon.
Yeah.
And they showed a picture of a load of people there last year, and right at the front was a filthy old beggar, right? No, I'm not joking.
How do you know he was a beggar?
Well, I'm about to tell you. A filthy old beggar who looks exactly like a bloke who calls himself the Wizard, right?
Yeah.
Who trails around towns in Surrey. I'm not joking.
The Wizard?
Yeah, the Wizard, yeah,
right.
Calls himself the Wizard.
Right.
He carries a crook.
Right.
I am your shepherd and all that.
Right. Does he wear sort of, swaddling clothes?
He wears purple cloaks.
Right.
He wears purple cloaks.
Oh, I think I've seen pictures of this bloke.
Yeah, he wears purple cloaks.
Yeah.
He doesn't wear any socks. He wears sandals. His feet are always filthy.
Yeah.
He smells of urine most of the time, right?
Ooh.
That's why he's a filthy old beggar.
Too much information.
Yeah. He walks around with this cloak and all that. And this is the best thing. And he charges people £2 to take a picture of him. That's how he makes his money. Seriously. And I could swear when I saw this picture, and he got this white beard. I mean, unfortunately, in some ways, he looks a bit like me, but it's not me, if you see what I mean. And I saw him. I thought, I know who that is. That's the Wizard. Yeah. And this Wizard guy.
Is it not possible that he bears a striking resemblance to a druid?
Maybe I don't know, but I could have sworn that's him. He wears a little skull cap and all this kind of stuff, and he's always floating around outside. Oh, whenever I've been in Epsom, I've seen him there, I've seen in Ashstead and places like that. He's always floating around railway stations. I don't know
why wouldn't anyone pay him money to have a picture taken?
Because they think he's a personality, a local personality. You know what happened to him once? You won't believe this.
Right.
He was prosecuted ridiculously by the police for carrying a knife.
Was he?
But the knife was like on a belt.
Right.
And he said it was
like a ceremonial
dagger.
Exactly.
It was like his ski and do over the.
Yeah.
Is that was it?
Ski and do. Yeah.
So
they give it in a sock normally.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He says to me ceremonial knife. Anyway, ridiculously, somebody prosecuted him in court, and it was his 5 minutes of fame. The law.
Free the Wizard won.
Yeah, free the Wizard won. It was my knife is because of my religion, and all this kind of stuff. And they dismissed the case as with ramblings of a man who leads alternative lifestyle and that kind of stuff. But very odd. Very odd indeed.
Very, very strange.
Yeah.
This is from Joshua. He says, I have a 2002 Honda and my radio changes over to traffic channels too. I can assure you it isn't a £34,000 radio.
Yeah.
# not the only one.
Yeah, I know, but why would it suddenly change to...
Well, you must have done something.
I didn't do anything.
You must have just somehow flicked the scan button.
No, I didn't. I promise you. I would know if I had done.
All right.
Because I'd never got it back to normal.
That's a great one from Bob.
Yeah.
I don't think Stephen King's got much to worry about.
What do you mean by that?
Plank. Well, he means your story's crap.
Well, no,
basically,
my story's
it's
true.
Not exactly Christine, the car that drives itself and kills people. Is it?
Well, hang on, mate. It's absolutely 100% bona fide. And I mean, consider there were no other, bona fide.
Bona fide.
It means
ID.
Hey?
It's an E. It's not A. It's not FIDA. That's a dog.
Bona fide, yeah.
Bona fide.
Yeah, you know. But anyway, what I'm saying is, think about it. A lonely road, nobody there, early in the morning, Guildford Cathedral, starred in the Omen. I'm suddenly getting music blasted out from Guildford Cathedral through my radio.
Right.
Abide With Me, the song I've put in my will to be played at my funeral.
Yeah.
It's very, very weird.
I think what you should do is replicate the journey next Sunday and see if it happens again.
Well, I might not be around at that time next Sunday, to be able to do it.
Make yourself available.
Well, I don't know.
How about this from Roy? He says, the Strawberry Moon's obviously appearing because Porky finally bought MG a bottle of pink champagne.
Well, there you go.
Hashtag, now that really is weird.
There you go. See, people remember these sort of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, coming up, we're going to talk to a nutritionist, and you'll be able to get some information out of Jill Trigg, because she's going to tell us all about why... It sounds like you know her.
No, it's just an unusual name. Very nice name.
You like it?
Yes.
Okay. Ever been out with anyone called Jill?
Let me think. No, I haven't. No.
I have.
No.
Let's talk sport.
Sugar. Oh, honey, honey. You are my candy girl. And you got me wanting you. Honey. Oh, sugar, sugar.
This is Talk Sport. We are the two Mikes. Winners and losers coming up a little bit later on in the show. Right now, though, we're going to talk to our favourite nutritionist, Ms. Jill Trigg, because Philadelphia, believe it or not, has become the first place in America, first city, to actually work out that they want to bring in what they call a soda tax. So it's going to be a tax on sugary drinks to try and stop people becoming obese, or at least stop them from becoming even more obese. Jill, a very good morning to you. Welcome.
Hello, how are you doing today?
Yeah, very well indeed.
Thank
you so much for joining us. Now, I understand that they've tried to introduce this in quite a few other parts of the states, but somehow they haven't been allowed to, or it's been voted down. Why is Philadelphia different?
Well, I think that it's being voted down in so many other places just because the sugar companies and the beverage companies just have so much money, and they can spend this money on advertising against passing the laws. So I feel like Philadelphia has taken a big step here, and I'm really happy to see that this law was passed.
And what does it actually mean in terms of the pricing? Say, for example, if you were going to go and buy, I don't know, in a fast food joint, a big litre sort of bag, a bottle of Diet Coke, how much is the price going to go up?
So the price is supposed to go up about 1.5 cents per ounce. So they're saying if you buy a 16-ounce bottle, like a six-pack of them, it would be about $1.44 extra of tax. So it's not a crazy amount. I think that people are over-exaggerating how much extra money they're going to be spending.
Right.
It's really not that much, but it is a little bit more. They would normally be spending.
OK, now, Jill, we've got some information here looking at where this has been tried before. We are told, and you might be able to correct me, that over 30 cities or states in recent years have tried this tax, have tried this plan.
Well, I just asked you about that.
Yeah, to help the to help the health of youngsters. If it's failing and not working, does that mean America is getting more and more obese and it's on an unstoppable decline?
I mean, I don't think it's unstoppable, and I think that the reason it hasn't worked in so many places is because it's just being opposed by, these big companies and by store owners. For example, some stores are making about 25% of their profit from soft drinks and pop. So they're going to oppose the laws coming in because they're afraid that customers are no longer going to be buying these beverages, so they're going to lose money. Also, the beverage companies are pushing it as if it's like a grocery tax. So if you look online and you look at the people who are opposing the tax, they don't say it's a soft drink sugar tax. They say, a grocery tax. So people are thinking, oh my gosh, they're taxing my food.
Yeah.
So obviously that's a really negative thing. You don't need pop to live.
Yeah, but the point is, Jill, isn't this the nanny state, as we call it in Europe? Why are politicians and who are influenced by people like yourself telling the population what they can consume, what they can't consume? Surely, if a mother sees her child getting fatter and fatter and fatter, then it's her responsibility to regulate that child's diet, which includes cutting down on the number of cans of soda and Coca-Cola and 7-Up she allows the child to drink.
Totally. I mean, I fully agree, but obviously that's not happening. You can look at Mexico. Mexico actually implemented a tax, and they saw a 12% decline in consumption of soft drinks over a year, and they actually did see obesity rates go down. So whether or not those two were correlated, there was no, proof that that's what helped, but that probably did help.
I'm always slightly dubious when people say, obesity rates went down, because that is that's a very fast kind of reaction, isn't it? Because you have to say,
sure.
If you go into any fast food outlet in any part of the world,
particularly America,
but also here as well.
Well,
whenever anybody, everybody's standing there ordering stuff. It's go large for slightly less money here, and just because the drink is going to cost a bit more, it's not going to make much difference to everything else they're consuming, is it?
No, I don't think it will. I understand where they're coming from, and the idea behind this particular tax is what the mayor is saying is it's to raise money for pre-K programs.
Right.
So the money is supposed to go directly to those pre-K programs, and that's why they're taxing the soft drinks. Now, the problem I see with that is if they're trying to reduce the amount of soft drinks that are being consumed, then the tax would naturally become less and less every year, the amount that they're collecting from that tax.
Yeah.
So if he was really trying to fund these pre-K programs, would he not be trying to find a more consistent tax to be putting towards this program, right? So,
well, exactly. They're talking.
I don't really think that that's what he's doing. But,
they're talking about raising $90 million, I think, over the course of a year in revenue from this tax. So, if they'll become addicted to the sugar tax, if you like, rather than people being addicted to the sugar, because they won't be able to do without it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I think that there is a bit of a good idea behind it. If you look at smoking, a lot of people know that smoking is bad for them. And I know for me, a bunch of my friends quit not because it was bad for them, but because it's such an expensive habit.
Yeah.
So I think maybe they're trying to make drinking sugary beverages so expensive that people just stop doing it.
Yeah.
Except that there's not much evidence that younger people have not taken up smoking in as many numbers, even though it is expensive.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is America now is institutionalised fat, if you see what I mean. You're such a wealthy country, people just eat as much as they want to stuff inside their bodies. Now, when you talk about trying to deter people by punitive financial measures, putting a tax on it, doesn't it work anyway in America? Because by and large, in this country, we have a national health service. In your country, people have medical insurance. Surely medical insurers will up the cost of their programmes to their consumers massively if they think people are eating themselves and drinking themselves to death.
Well, I personally don't agree with the tax. I do see where it's coming from.
Yeah.
But I do think that people need to be responsible for themselves. And, what they're seeing in Philadelphia is people are just going to drive out of the town and they're going to drink the sugary beverages anyway.
So they're actually going to spend more money to go and buy it somewhere where they don't have to pay the actual tax. How do they work out as well, if you don't mind me asking, Jill, what the, where the soda tax begins, if you like? What's the measurement of how much sugar or whatever is in the drink?
You mean what? Like which beverages they're going to?
Yeah, how, for example, if you've got something which has got no added sugar in it at all, or no sugar in it, but it's got some kind of sugar substitute in it, does that suffer from the tax as well?
Yeah, so they actually are going to tax diet beverages as well. So that includes aspartame sweetened beverages. What I don't know is, are they going to tax like juices? Because a lot of juices on the market are actually just as bad as pop. They've been boiled down into a sugar solution and then they've had flavorings added back to them. It's basically the same as pop. So are they going to be taxing these as well? I'm not sure.
And they rot your teeth as well, don't they?
They for sure do. And a lot of parents are giving their kids juice thinking that they're making a good choice, and they aren't. So maybe there needs to be just education there rather than punishing people and making them spend a lot of money. So
because that is the end result of all of this, isn't it? As Mike says, if either the insurance companies don't start to control what people consume, it's a very difficult. It's a very difficult, particularly in America, where it's meant to be the land of the free and the home of the brave and all that.
That's
you know,
right, yeah.
And it sounds like something that the British government would bring in rather than an American one.
Yeah, I mean. I actually was quite surprised to see the article and everything, but I'm not really sure what the real solution is, but I don't think that this is the solution to obesity.
No.
You know, I see a lot of clients all the time. I work with a lot of clients from the U.S. I am Canadian, but I work with a lot of international clients. And a lot of them really just don't know what they should be eating. So there needs to be education in place to help these people out.
Yeah, but, I mean, to be perfectly honest, Jill, if you don't mind me saying this, Mike and I both lived in America for a good part of our working lives in New York and Washington and whatever. I mean, excess is institutionalised in America, and I think you've got as much chance of turning that back as you have of reforming your gun laws, which is another institutional part of American life. And whilst I admire the work you do as a nutritionist, it's very, very important to have rules about how human beings live without killing themselves. You really are fighting a losing battle, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the people that I work with are not actually obese. I don't work with very few obese people. A lot of them are athletes looking to improve their performance through natural supplements and eating well. A lot of them have lifelong diseases that they've been dealing with. So I don't deal with a huge amount of obese people, but I do deal with some of them. And it is a losing battle for a lot of people.
It is.
It
is. I totally agree. And it must cost the state, I mean, billions and billions of pounds in terms of medical care.
The other criticism of it is it's a tax on poorer people, generally speaking,
it is.
isn't it? Because they tend to be the people that drink more of this stuff.
Oh, yeah, it for sure is. I mean, that is the issue with Philadelphia, is that there is a lot of low-income people living there. There are a lot of people on welfare, and they are the ones who are drinking the majority of the sugary beverages. And that's not just like my opinion. That is what data is saying. You know, that is there are articles and things to back that up. So it is taxing people that are already struggling and people that are probably trying to get their kids into these pre-K programs. So, I mean, I think they are taxing the wrong group of people.
Yeah,
but
I totally agree.
I think you're absolutely right. As long as they don't start taxing Philly cheesesteaks, I'll be fine with that.
Exactly.
But Jill, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Jill.
Giving us the lowdown on why Philadelphia
pleasure.
are the first and only city so far in the US to actually introduce this. It does seem very, very much, as you say, like the nanny state.
Yeah.
But we shall talk more about that. Loads of tweets to read out. Tweet us, of course, at the Two Mikes. We've got winners and losers coming up in the next hour. This is TalkSport.
The Two Mikes. Simulcast across the UK on TalkSport and Talk Radio.
This is TalkSport. We are the Two Mikes. Loads more coming up. There will be a podcast, of course, coming out a little bit later on this morning, around about 9 a.m. If you pay attention, if you haven't been up all night listening to us, or indeed up all night at Stonehenge, waiting for the solstice and the sunrise. Charlie says this, first night free of school and exams. First Two Mikes live show. 10 more weeks of this gold.
Yeah.
And he says, #winner.
Absolutely great. That's
good. Bert says, I've got a funny Parry story. I have a similar one. Every time Parry talks, my radio plays I Know a Song That Gets on Your Nerves.
Oh, yeah, really? Is that right?
Robert says, because the moon goes a pink colour, it's to coincide with the start of the strawberry picking season in Druid times, you plank. Well, I've never heard it called the strawberry moon before this year. I've never heard of the strawberry moon until now.
I haven't either. I haven't. I've seen a picture of it, and it looks like a pink grapefruit.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But I mean, my point is, if it's to coincide with the start of the strawberry picking season, why do we not always call it a strawberry moon?
I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Now, here's an answer for you on your mysterious car experience. Right. From the gaffer. He says, hey, guys, you have a button with TP on it, and it can be programmed to change to news and music when you're in different areas. I bet that's what you've done. You've hit the TP button.
Why would that happen outside Guildford Cathedral?
Well, because
why
you could
nowhere else?
Well, but you could have touched it inadvertently.
I didn't.
mean, most of the controls in your car are very sensitive, and I bet you've got something on the steering wheel that you could have brushed against or anything.
Well, how could it have happened so coincidentally outside Guildford Cathedral?
Because it just picks up a local frequency.
No, and then it says, and that was the choir of Guildford City Cathedral singing "Abide with Me." I mean, it's almost like the cover of Sergeant Pepper's. You know, Paul McCartney's dead.
Sergeant Pepper.
Sorry, not Sergeant Pepper. Abbey Road, because Paul McCartney's got no shoes on. He's dead. The registration plate on the car. IF28, 28 if still alive. Now, talking about Paul McCartney, by the way, that music we just played was a bit of Wings stuff, okay?
What, just now?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
No,
it was LA Woman, wasn't it?
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I'm sure it was LA Woman.
Yeah, I think it was.
You know who that was by, don't you?
Sorry?
You know who LA Woman was by,
Who was
don't
that by?
The Doors.
The Doors.
Jim Morrison.
Right, I don't know why we played that, because I thought we were going to play something from Wings. You know why?
Why?
Because Henry McCulloch, who was one of the original members of Wings, with Paul McCartney and Linda McCartney, has sadly died.
Has he?
Yeah.
Right.
One day in 1972, while recording at Abbey Road with Paul McCartney, Henry McCulloch wandered into the adjoining studio where Pink Floyd were at work with a song titled Money.
Oh, yeah.
Does that mean anything to you?
Money, yes.
Right.
From Dark Side of the Moon.
With the tape running, Roger Waters
Have
asked
you never heard Dark Side of the Moon?
Well, I'm getting round to
Have
it.
you not got Pink Floyd's greatest hits?
No, I'm getting round to it. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Go on.
Now it says, with the tape running, Roger Waters asked him a question, to which he replied, "I don't know. I was really drunk at the time." McCulloch...
Is that him?
Hey?
Is that him?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually, I never knew that. I know exactly that voice.
Is that on the record?
Yeah, it's on the song. Yeah.
Oh, I see. With the tape running, Roger Waters asked him a question to which I don't know, I was really drunk at the time.
Yeah.
McCulloch thought no more of it until a year later.
How fascinating.
When, to his bemusement, his disembodied and uncredited voice was included on Pink Floyd's new album, The Dark Side of the Moon.
I just said that.
I know, I was just reading out the sequence to you, okay?
Yeah.
Over the next 40 years, McCulloch was asked repeatedly about his contribution to what became the biggest selling British rock album of all time. According to one source, he was talking about a fight he had with his partner the night before, but to the disappointment of aficionados of pop trivia, McCulloch himself could not even recall recording his famous line.
Really?
I honestly can't remember what the question was that brought that reply, and I've not seen any of the Floyds since that day in Abbey Road.
Wow. Isn't that interesting?
How about that?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Well, we have to find you the little cut from that actual song in which you hear him saying those words.
Yes.
Because, I mean, it never occurred to me to even wonder who it was that had said those words.
Well.
But now that I know,
well,
it's
there you
actually
go.
rather interesting.
There you go.
That's quite an interesting anecdote you just told.
Well, it's a very interesting anecdote indeed.
But was he with Wings all the way through then?
Right from the start.
Really?
As one of rock music's most able and versatile guitarists, it was a source of frustration that perhaps his most famous contribution to musical history came in such a throwaway fashion.
Yeah.
For he boasted a wide-ranging and impressive instrumental pedigree, in addition to playing guitar with McCartney's Wings on such hits as Hi, Hi, Hi.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get high, high,
That got
high.
banned as well, didn't it?
Yeah, in case people thought it was about smoking reefers, didn't
Well,
they?
I think it was meant to be about getting high, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
It was called Hi, Hi, Hi.
It was called Hi, Hi, Hi. Do you know what the flip side of it was?
It wasn't about hello, was it?
No, it wasn't about hello.
So the flip side was Sea Moon.
No, I thought it was Junior's Farm.
No, it was Sea Moon, because I bought the single.
Oh, OK, well done.
And
Hi,
Sea
Hi.
Moon actually became a hit as well, because all the radio stations had to play the flip side.
That's right.
Because they couldn't play Hi, Hi, Hi.
Sea Moon, Sea Moon.
It wasn't one of the great lyrics, that.
Are we?
It was a terrible song, actually.
It was, yeah. And, well, it was a B-side, wasn't it? And it was just like a throwaway. And then My Love and the Bond theme, Live and Let Die.
Yeah.
He also performed at Woodstock with Joe Cocker.
Yeah.
He jammed with Jimi Hendrix. He recorded with Donovan and Marianne Faithfull. Yeah. And he appeared in the original cast recording of Jesus Christ Superstar.
Did he? So he died just like recently then, did he?
He was...
What age was he?
He was 72.
Oh, OK.
So 72 is quite an age.
It certainly is.
But anyway, the point of the story is that he was originally
the lights
with...
all gone out in here, by the way.
What'd you say?
The lights have all gone a bit strange in here, haven't they?
No, I've not noticed.
Really?
But I just concentrate my work. I don't sort of look around, see what's happened to the lights. Now, what I was going to say to you was, you told me you saw a bit of Paul McCartney on telly last week, and it was quite fascinating stuff.
I did. Well, it was actually a few weeks ago, I think now. Wasn't it? A couple of weeks ago, and he was being interviewed because he's got a new album out. And in fact, I saw a poster for lecturer in the Tube the other day.
Yeah.
And he was talking to a group of people about just how to teach music.
It was kids, a group of kids, because you showed me the.
It wasn't kids. It was actually people who were. Somebody just asked about teaching music.
Yes.
And he started playing the piano and saying, well, it's really simple. You've got to get kids to understand that you can write songs really easily.
Yeah.
And because he was Paul McCartney, it was fascinating because he started playing a couple of chords on the piano.
He played about 3 chords.
And then suddenly he went, you can write 1 billion songs with that. And it sounded brilliant already.
Yeah. I know, he said, let me play you those. Boom, boom, boom. He said, I can make 100 songs out of that. Yeah. It was amazing.
Incredible.
Absolutely amazing.
I'll tell you a funny story about my Pink Floyd album, Dark Side of the Moon.
OK, and are we going to get that line? We need to hear that line.
I'll see if we can get it.
Yeah.
If we can't get it now, we will definitely get it.
Yeah.
Hear about this from Lord Rallo. Being a native of Philadelphia, I can tell you this city is full of fat slobs, so anything will help, but this won't help.
Yeah.
Bit harsh, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it won't help. I mean, do you think anybody cares about another 70 cents on a large bottle of Diet Coke?
Wouldn't have thought so. But if people are driving out of the city to buy it anyway, it's ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Kind of defeats the object.
That's how cheap gas is in America,
if
isn't
they're
it?
running out of the city. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If they were running out of the city, maybe that would help.
Yeah.
This is Talk Sport.
The Two Mikes, simulcast across the UK on Talk Sport and Talk Radio.
I'll take the bad times. I take you just the way you are.
Spooky, eh?
That was exactly how it happened.
Is it?
Honestly, that was exactly how it happened.
Well, it's the TP button. There's no doubt about it.
Well, I don't even know what the TP button is. I don't know where it is. I didn't touch it. I'm telling you, that was... I would say it was an act of God in some way.
It was not an act of God. It was an act of radio.
Well, OK, it was an act of radio inspired by something.
You're obviously not paying attention if you don't realise that every time you drive into a new area, it changes.
No, it doesn't.
If you've got the TP on.
It doesn't.
I guarantee you.
Well, it doesn't, because if it did, I'd know
think
about
you're being followed around by some, benign spirit.
No. It was just very weird. These things happen sometimes. I mean, funny enough, last week we were talking...
Well, these things happen sometimes, like spooky happenings?
Well, hang on. We were talking last week to the spook meister, weren't we, from America?
Meister?
Yeah, the guy who said that, there are unexplained things that happen in life. Yeah. He's been in rooms where objects have been flying around, all that kind of stuff.
Hunter, though.
Sorry?
He's a ghost hunter.
Yeah, OK. Well,
he's not going to come on and say they don't exist, is he?
Well, yeah, all right. But there wouldn't be any ghost hunters if there weren't, things to go and hunt.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm certain.
I think that ghost hunting could be done if there were no ghosts.
Well, you say that.
There would be gullible people who would think that you were doing the right thing. Now, how about this?
Yes.
From Peter.
Yeah.
He says, Roger Waters read questions to people at Abbey Road off of cue cards for use on the album. Paul McCartney was asked one as well, but his was not used. Imagine that.
Yeah. So he didn't want to use Paul McCartney on the album?
Well, because maybe his voice was too recognisable.
Oh, I suppose so.
And if they used him, people would have gone, that's Paul McCartney.
Or maybe Paul McCartney gave an answer which wasn't suitably interesting, you know, because they can be bland, these superstars, can't they,
Well, they can.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear my story about Dark Side of the Moon?
Yes, please.
Well, it came out in 1975.
Right.
I think I'm right in saying. It might have been 73, actually. And I went in 1975 on a school trip to America.
Right.
And we were camping. And we flew to Detroit. And we got in these two big stations. Detroit,
yeah. Much of a place to camp, is it?
Well, we weren't camping in Detroit, but we started the trip there.
Oh, I see.
And then we took these two big station wagons. We drove across the centre of America, through Iowa, Nebraska, ended up in Colorado in the Rocky Mountains. And it was a fascinating trip. But I had taken $100, which was all I'd saved up. Right. And when we got to... I think it was somewhere near Aspen, Colorado.
How old are you, 16?
I was 16,
Right, yeah.
We got to Aspen and...
you could raise at 16, $100?
Yeah, I think... Well, it's
like
you
worked in this bakery all the time.
Well, I did, I did. But I used to get paid like for 15 quid a day. I mean, $100 was quite a lot.
Okay.
I thought.
Well,
but
15
my sister,
quid in those days, that was like $25. $30.
Yeah, well, anyway, I had $100.
Should have saved up for 6 months.
Well, I had $100, right?
Go on,
so shoot me.
Yeah.
And my sister had said she wanted me to bring back a baseball glove.
Yeah.
So I said, OK, so I went to this sports shop. And the cheapest baseball glove was about $70.
Oh, yeah, it would be, yeah.
So I bought a $70 baseball glove. And I realised I didn't have any more money. So I basically ran out of money. So for the rest of the trip, almost everything else that I brought back as a souvenir, I stole, right? And so we went
like
into this...
ashtrays from restaurants.
Well,
and
no,
things.
I stole a load of records. We went into this record shop in Iowa, and you know how in England they kept the records behind the counter?
Yes.
In America, they had them all sealed up inside the actual sleeve.
Yes.
So I realised that basically if I went and bought one record and got a bag, I could go back to where all the other records were and pick one up and put it back in and look as if I was putting it, back where it was. In fact, I was putting it back in the bag. And Dark Side of the Moon is one of the albums that I stole, and I've still got it.
My God.
What?
What would have happened if you'd have been arrested there for shoplifting? You'd still be in jail in America.
No, I don't think so.
You would.
There will be a podcast coming out a little bit later on in the morning, about 9 o'clock, of course. We should also remind people that on Thursday night, we're going to do a big referendum special show, are we not?
We're doing what?
A big referendum special, has nobody told you?
Yes, we are. Yes, 5 hours.
Well, you're going to be here for 5 hours?
Yes, from 1 till 6.
Just for a change?
Yes, that's right. But it'll be like the general election special we did.
It'll be like the election special
What we'll do is we will give forensic analysis of the results coming in, laced with irony, humour, wit, and information.
And maybe a few stories about Europe.
Because,
we'll be talking about Europe all night. So,
we certainly will.
One of the things I wondered about, because it is such a momentous night politically, whether the Porky quiz ought to be on something to do with Europe, because otherwise...
Are we going to have a Porky quiz that night?
Well, I think we should
I don't think we'll have room, will we?
Yeah, we will.
Are you sure?
Of course we should have a Porky quiz. If we take rid of the Porky quiz out, a lot of people will be very upset.
Okay.
I don't think we could do a Thursday night show without the Porky quiz.
Okay, well, I think it needs a Europe theme then.
A European theme.
Yeah,
well, we can think about that.
I'll think about that, and we'll come with that one tomorrow night.
Yeah,
no doubt about it,
okay? Difficult. Now, would you like to hear this Dark Side of the Moon clip?
Yes, please. That would be brilliant.
We have that now.
I don't know, I was really drunk at the time. You just told me it was plugged into number 2. He was asking why it wasn't.
That's it, it's right at the end of the song.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah, do you want to hear it again?
Yes, please.
You came a bit quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know, I was really drunk at the time. You just told me it was plugged into number 2. He was asking why it wasn't.
See, that doesn't sound like the quote I've just read out.
I don't know.
Because he said something about number 2.
No, he said, I don't know, I was really drunk at the time.
I don't know, I was really drunk at the time.
That's what he just said.
That's the quote, yeah.
Well, that's what he just said.
But I thought he went on to say something else.
No, that was it.
Oh, okay. Right, okay.
Unless there was something else involved that he said as well.
Yeah, well, that could have been one of the other singers or something.
Yeah.
Now, listen, have you ever...
I'm listening.
Have you heard about safari dinners?
Safari dinners?
Yeah.
No.
It's a new way to meet partners.
Is it?
Well, and in my case, members of the opposite sex.
In your case?
Yeah.
Well, presumably in every case, isn't it?
Well, no, I mean, partners might be of the same sex, but in my case, they're of the opposite sex,
Does it mean going literally into the lion's den?
No, what you do is...
Or a safari park?
Yeah, this is amazing. What happens is... Yeah. No, it's not something to do with the safari park.
Isn't it?
What happens is...
Right.
I'm just trying to work it out. Wait a minute. Right.
Because you can go to London Zoo now and spend a night with the lions.
Oh, I know, yeah, and all that. Oh, forget all that. No, they're called safari dinners because what you do is you have to be popular in your neighbourhood.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So that rules you out, obviously.
Well, I don't want to be popular in my neighbourhood.
And then
you want to be popular everywhere you go.
No. You organise a dinner for 6.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And 2 other people in the same street or neighbourhood have to organise dinners for 6.
Right.
And there have to be 3 men and 3 women at each dinner.
Yeah.
And
3 men and 3 women.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then...
What if you're already married?
No, these are for single people.
Oh, okay.
These are for single people.
I was going to say, it's only some kind of swingers thing.
No.
When I lived in Wiltshire, by the way.
What?
In one of the villages that I lived in Wiltshire.
Yes.
There was meant to be a group of swingers there.
Oh, right, yeah.
But, I mean, I never found out, obviously.
Well, you were looking.
No, I wasn't. No,
of course you were.
I can't imagine anything worse.
Of course you were.
No, I cannot imagine anything worse.
Rubbish. What, free sex on a plate?
Yeah,
with no ties.
This is where you misunderstand me.
Seems to be right up your street to me.
No,
I
would not wish to get involved in any kind of horizontal refreshment with people that lived in the same village as me.
Yeah, well, I have to say, not on your own
standing
doorstep,
at the school gate the next day.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well, anyway, listen. What happens here is so it's a 3-course meal: starter, main, and dessert.
Yes,
I suppose the dessert's the one everybody's after. And
at what point do you throw the keys in the middle?
No.
The house keys, I mean, not the car
What
keys.
happens is you sit there, and then the 3 men get up and go to the other house.
What?
And the 3 girls get up and they go to the other house, and they'll do it round in rotation.
What?
So you have...
Well, they go to the other house for sex?
No, for the middle course.
Oh, you mean
starter?
You have a course in each house?
Yes,
That's
exactly.
ridiculous.
No, it's
That's ludicrous.
It's like
well, how can you be cooking if you're already eating?
It's an upmarket speed dating.
That sounds like cobblers to me.
It allows both males and females to meet new people in convivial setting.
What do you live in some horrible area?
Well, don't do it in horrible areas. You do it in a nice area, right?
Okay.
Seriously, do it in a nice area.
But for example...
Apparently this is the new thing.
Well, all right, but say, for example, you won't understand any of this because it's about cooking, right? But if you were providing the main course...
Yes.
And you have to go to somebody else's house to eat the first course...
Yes.
How can you cook the main course?
Well, I think you order it in. I think you order in a Chinese takeaway or something like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I think the eating is the last thing that you're worried about. It's what it is getting to meet other people. Yeah. I would imagine, because I've only just been briefed on these things, that it would take place in sort of like student communities and that sort of thing, I would imagine.
It sounds mad to me. Why are people coming up with all these ridiculous ideas? We had the guy from We 5-0 on, didn't we, the other day?
Yes, that's right.
Who was talking about how you cook for 6 strangers.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Who pay money to come and eat at your house.
Yeah, who wants to do that?
This sounds even more mad.
This sounds even more... They are called safari dinners.
You know what they should actually name it after Dennis Stein. You might not remember this guy because it was after you left New York. But he became the sort of consort for Elizabeth Taylor for a while.
Yeah, I remember
and
him.
I remember him. He was basically a deadbeat.
Yes, that's right,
who had kind of come... He was meant to be a comedian, but nobody really knew of any comedy that he'd ever done. And he was always in Elaine's, right? And his trick at Elaine's, which was the celebrity restaurant on the Upper East Side,
exactly,
was that he would eat a different course with different tables.
Yeah.
So that he would never have to pay.
Oh, I see. He just floated around.
So he just floated around.
You want to talk to me?
Hey, Dennis, you're such a great guy.
Dennis Stein.
And he would come down and he'd have the starter with one lot, and then he'd move over to the next table, have his main course, and then he'd move over and have some dessert with the next lot.
Well, he'd probably want to talk to him about, Elizabeth Taylor's bosom or something like that.
Probably,
you know what I mean?
Probably.
I would imagine that was the most popular thing.
I don't think she ever married him.
No, she definitely didn't. No, she had like 8 marriages, and 2 of those were to Richard Burton.
That's right. Exactly right.
Listen, talking about New York, by the way.
Yeah.
I found out that Mr. Abramovich, of course, who is a...
Was he meant to have been in Chester at the weekend?
Well, yeah, I saw that. I saw a picture that said he was in Chester, but I thought he only ever went anywhere where he could take his yacht, and you certainly can't berth your yacht on the River Dee in Chester because you can't. The river's too silted up.
Yes.
You can't get up as far as Chester. There's a weir just outside Chester.
He might have gone there in helicopter, mightn't he?
Could have gone in helicopter, you're true. But listen to this.
Yeah.
Roman Abramovich's plan to build a £55 million mansion in the heart of New York has been passed after he agreed to keep the original facades of the 3 houses he is knocking together.
Oh, really? Where's he going to do that then?
Well, this is on the Upper East Side.
Yeah.
Now, I saw a picture of these houses, and I know the street. I think it's around about 79th or something like that, right?
It's not Sutton Place or somewhere, is it?
It could be.
Yeah.
But that's a bit low down. That's about 50s somewhere,
right,
But that's where the very wealthy billionaire oil man lived, wasn't it?
Hey?
What's his name?
I don't know. Carl Icahn?
No. The guy who also had a home in London.
I don't know.
In Surrey. He was very wealthy.
Well,
it wasn't Rockefeller.
You could narrow it down a bit more.
Yeah, hang on. He was the billionaire American oil man. And Getty, John Paul Getty.
Oh, John Paul Getty.
Paul Getty.
Okay.
He had a place there. But anyway,
has anyone lost an ear?
No, that was his grandson.
Okay.
His grandson lost the ear when he wouldn't pay the ransom originally, and then he paid $1 million.
Right,
and he got the ear back.
We've got to do listography at some point.
Oh yeah, sure. But anyway, what he did is he bought these townhouses on the Upper East Side, and he was going to knock them all into one and join them together and put a swimming pool and a sauna, by digging a basement and all that. Put a pavilion on the back. And the thing that the planners said were, no, you can't unless you make all the windows in all 3 exactly the same. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Because although they were similarly shaped buildings, the window cornices and all that were different.
Okay.
2 of the properties, number 13 and number 15, were Queen Anne-style row houses built in the late 1880s with bay windows, but number 11 was said to have been built in the same style at the same time. But in 1923, it was recast with a red brick Georgian-type window in the neo-federal style. So at a hearing in April this year, city planners rejected the plans and said he's got to send his plans back to the architects.
All right.
The new design that won the local authorities' approval will leave the front of each house unchanged.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So happy for him.
Yes.
Thank you very much for
And the house will
us.
then be worth $55 million.
Right.
I wonder how much money Mr. Abramovich has got.
Well, he's got plenty more than that.
Yeah.
Billions, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, we're going to do listography coming up in a little while.
Okay.
So I'm going to read you a few of the suggestions that we've got.
Okay.
If you've got any more for us, you can hashtag it listography.
Yeah.
In case we don't like any of these. Name your 3 favourite comedians. I think we've done that one, haven't we?
We have,
3
indeed.
people have had the most impact on the path of your lives or career.
Right.
Here's one that says your 3 favourite sporting underdog stories. Your top 3 good news stories so far of 2016. I can never remember any good news stories.
No, I can't either.
The 3 funniest things you've ever seen, not on TV in everyday life. Top 3 gifts you've received from people.
Yeah.
Top 3 choices for next England manager.
Yeah.
Let's see. We did 3 favourite words, didn't we, last week?
What about the gifts?
Gifts is all right.
Like
isn't
the
it?
gifts?
Yeah, 3 favourite gifts you've ever received.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
Okay,
Well, we'll
good.
do that coming up in about half an hour's time.
Right.
Coming up very shortly, it's winners and losers.
The Two Mics, simulcast across the UK on Talk Sport and Talk Radio.
This is Talk Sport. We are the Two Mics. Coming up, it's winners and losers, of course. And as of last week, when we had this conversation, we can't include anything that was nominated as heroes and villains.
No, exactly.
Although you seem to be running away with that a bit. It's 3-1 to you in heroes and villains.
It is. I thought it was 3-0. No, you'd won one.
No, I did win the first one.
Okay.
But I'm slightly worried that you've somehow nobbled the producer of that particular show.
No, I've nobbled him
But anyway,
at all.
so anything that you mentioned as a hero or a villain,
Yes.
you can't mention as a winner or a loser.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Is that a deal?
Yeah, still.
Okay.
Deal.
I'm just right at the moment comparing my
Yes,
three
yes,
favourite
yes,
gifts that I've ever received.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Yes.
Because I've never been given that many things
Right.
in my life.
Really?
No.
No, you've been a poor deprived child.
I have, yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
Well, not a poor deprived child. I've just been more of a giver than a receiver,
Quite right.
shall we say.
Yep.
Now, also coming up this week, we're going to have Ask Porky tomorrow.
Yes.
We're going to have Porky Vision, of course.
Yes.
I watched the denouement, the ending of The Disappearance, by the way, which is amazing.
Yeah,
that show
what
I
is
was telling
that?
you about.
Oh, yeah,
Well, it's
yeah.
a French sort of thriller. Sort of murder,
You've told me about it.
Really good.
I took the House of Cards to my second home on the coast.
Oh, did you? Good.
Yeah.
So you're going to give it back to me at some point then?
Well, I've watched it. I didn't have a chance to watch it.
Yeah, no, I know, but I gave it to you months ago.
Yeah, well, I'm in the mood now.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, we have been quite busy over the last few
have,
weeks
that's true,
and
yeah.
months and whatever. But we've got a couple of weekends coming up which might just be a little bit clearer.
Yes.
So I might settle down and
You
have a
mean
look at
before
House
we
of
go
Cards.
to rugby?
Before we go to rugby.
Ticket sales going well there, actually.
Ticket sales going very well at rugby. If you want to get in on
The
there,
rugby,
please do.
Some people have been making fun of the fact that we're appearing at the Rugby Cultural Festival.
Well, I mean,
as
look.
if we wouldn't, you know?
Well,
As
hang
if
on,
we're not
hang
cultured.
on. You know, it's a bit passé these days to mainline, is it called?
Mainline?
What happens when you're the top act at Glastonbury? Headline. Yeah, it's a bit sort of passé.
Mainlining something else.
Yeah, it is actually. It's about sticking drugs in your veins,
Yeah,
isn't it? Yeah,
exactly.
It's a bit passé to headline at Glastonbury or the V Festival or something like that. We're at the Rugby Cultural Festival because we're cultural.
Yes.
Okay.
And cultured.
We're not just any sort of load of drifting rubbish,
No.
passing through rugby.
Filthy beggars.
No, exactly.
No.
You don't get any of that from us.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know whether you're going to bring up old Lewis Hamilton in your winners and
No,
losers.
definitely not.
Because a lot of people have suggested that if you do,
Yeah.
you'll lose straight away.
No,
because
no,
we always put him in.
no, definitely
but,
not.
He didn't have a very good weekend, did he?
No, he didn't have a very good weekend at all. In fact, from the moment he dunched his car into the wall in practice, he was a loser. He was finished, wasn't he? So that's too obvious.
Yeah.
Far too obvious.
Now, David says, my wife Claire has just woken up and can hear you. Please give her a shout-out from me. We've just found out we're expecting. We've already done that, David.
Yeah, we have done that,
You
yeah.
know, so we're not going to do it again.
I think
I thought she was
saw,
going to listen to it on the podcast.
I saw something from somebody else. It might have been the same chap saying, "Oh, you've been rude to my wife. I asked you to say hello to her, and I wasn't rude to anybody.
No.
I'm not rude to women
Well,
who are
you are
carrying
generally
children.
rude. You are quite
I'm not.
rude to people, generally speaking.
Listen, did you know that because we communicate quite a lot through email and all that,
Yeah.
it's on the way out.
What?
It's on the way out.
What, email is?
Email, yeah.
Well, hang on. You've only just got used to using it.
Yeah, well, and I can tell you now.
Well, what are they going to do instead?
What it says here is emails have become the bane of working life, with staff spending the equivalent of a day a week tending their inboxes.
Yeah.
Now, businesses are getting together and trying to find ways to cut email down to size or eradicate it altogether.
Well, you can't eradicate it altogether.
It says here, and I can
What do
understand
you mean
this.
it says here? It says where?
In my report
Yeah.
from Atos, who are a
Atos.
French IT company.
They're the people that keep testing people to see whether they're fit for work, aren't they?
Do they?
And they're not fit for
Really?
purpose, Atos. No.
Is that right?
Yeah, completely useless.
But what they've said is...
These are the people that tell people who can barely kind of walk
Yeah.
that they're okay for a job.
Oh, I see.
You know.
Well, it says here, excuse me, that the employees who overindulge in looking at their emails all the time, and there's always an excuse to say to a boss, yeah, in a minute, boss, I'm just dealing with this, you know what I mean? Or I'm just looking at the emails, or just checking back on my emails. They say that it takes up so much time, it's so counterproductive, that to boost productivity, it'd be better off taking the screens off a large number of employees who probably don't need them.
Well, I mean, certainly one of the things that is a bane of everybody's existence. When you come back from holiday, and you've been away for a week or something.
Yes.
And it says, you have 7,000
That's right,
unread
yeah.
emails
Yeah,
in
that's
your
right,
inbox.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you don't know about that because you never go on holiday.
Well, OK, well, that means I'm keeping up with things. But it says here, a housing trust in Cheshire has actually responded to the suggestion and is preparing to turn off its internal server after a 2-year programme to wean staff off emails. It's called the Halton, Halton, Housing Trust, and it worked out that staff were spending 40% of their time on internal emails, which had no productive value to the organisation.
Well, there's an awful lot of emails that you get which are of no use to man or beast, right?
Yes.
I mean, how many emails would you say you get in a day?
Well, what is interesting...
in your sort of capacity as, you're running several businesses, really.
Well, yeah, what is interesting is, on my information device, otherwise known as your phone, right, I don't know if everybody's got this, they might have, I've only got one phone.
No, well, maybe not, because you've got some
But when my emails come in, they come in 2 channels, one is focus and the other one is other.
Focus?
Yes.
What's that?
Well, they're ones that are specifically directly addressed to me, do you see what I mean?
So why do you get somebody else's emails?
Well, I don't, but you get all the spam stuff, don't you?
Right.
Now,
yeah.
that goes into other. Now, there's hundreds of those,
well,
right?
I've got on my phone, I've got junk.
Oh, well,
stuff comes into junk.
Mine says other. But
let's have a look and see what I've got from junk.
The specific, exactly. But while you're doing that, I'll tell you a story. Do you remember our very good friend Colin Myler?
Yes.
And I think Colin is now a big shot in America, isn't he?
He's not running the Daily News in New York still.
I know he went there after the News of the World closed down.
Yeah.
He was
editor, wasn't he?
To let our listeners know, he was the last editor of the News of the World.
Yeah.
He was in charge of it and manfully sort of guided it into the rocks, really, after being told to, because Rupert Murdoch shut it down after the scandal of the email allegations.
Well, the phone hacking.
The phone hacking and all that, yeah. So anyway, he went off to New York, that's right, and he was supreme news. But when he got his first news editor's job, it was on the newspaper Today.
Yes.
Not the paper we roundly mock all the time, which has now gone into oblivion. What was that called?
Day.
That was the New Day.
Yeah.
This was called Today.
Yeah. Well, I used to be their stringer in New York.
Of course you did. And it was a middle market paper, and who was the editor? It was the...
David Montgomery was
David
running for a
Montgomery,
while.
the Irish chap, yeah.
They used to have a separate Sunday. Brian MacArthur edited the Sunday
MacArthur,
one.
that's right, yeah.
He didn't have a clue.
But anyway, point of my story is David Montgomery was the editor who sat in his editor's office. Whenever he came out of his editor's office and wanted to talk to the news desk as news editor and all that kind of stuff, he was always concerned because Mr. Montgomery was an Ulsterman.
Fairly staunch unionist, I think.
Well, I was going to say, he came from, sort of very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Austere?
Yeah, austere sort of background, and almost as if they didn't sort of, welcome, the input of new technology, although I'm sure he did, because he later went into it in a big way. But anyway...
Well, Today was also meant to be the world's first colour newspaper, wasn't it?
First colour, and also the main subject that they dwelt on to build their circulation early on was the environment.
That's true.
They had huge environment
Although they never
stores.
really got that right, though.
Well, they were all trying to do it all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point of the story is, he came out one day and he said, right, that's it, I've had it. Take him away, and he had all the not laptops, what were they called in those days?
Desktop computers.
Desktop computers. He had them all removed.
Did he?
Yeah. He said.
Well, Paul Dacre doesn't have a computer. He refuses to read anything on a computer screen.
What?
He's the editor of the Daily Mail. Paul Dacre.
Well, how does he get his information in the office?
Everything is printed out for him.
And put on his desk?
Yeah.
By his secretary or something?
Well, or by people who are doing stuff. I mean, like page proofs, the whole thing. He doesn't look at anything on screen.
Well, I can understand not wanting to look at page proofs on screen because you want to see them in actual size, don't you? And you can't get the actual size on a dummy.
Yeah, but you can look at it on a screen. I mean, that's what most people do. I mean, it's what everybody's working on.
I prefer to look at it on a page proof because it's a copy of the paper, isn't it?
Same kind of generation, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. Same sort of bright spark that, he's the highest paid newspaper
but it's
editor in the world.
interesting that you say that because later years, when Montgomery was put in charge of the Mirror, when he was like the chief executive,
that's right,
he decided he wanted a paperless office.
Yeah.
So instead, he didn't get rid of the computers.
He went the other way.
He went the other way, and he told everybody, if there's any paper on your desk when these people come in 2 hours' time, it's all going to be thrown away.
Yes.
And people were not allowed to have any paper on the desk.
There's no such thing as
running a newspaper office.
The old paperless society, which we're all heading towards. I mean, what all computers have done is make more paper, not less.
Yeah.
Because people print everything out now. They just want things printed out and put around.
I don't print anything out. Really, apart from I put out maybe 2 pieces of paper per night on the show.
That's do things like, if you're dealing in business, somebody sends you an invoice, I'm sending an invoice, I always run off a hard copy and I put it in a file. Yeah, I feel safer that way.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Because I could lose electronically. Right, now then,
Is that the story, by the way? I thought you were going to tell me an interesting story.
I've told you that email is on the way out.
Well, it's not. You haven't told me what it's going to be replaced by.
Well, it's not going to be replaced by anything. An email charter limits the use of functions such as reply to all and CC. It encourages staff to check external emails only once or twice a day. Yeah. This will be introduced gradually into all computer systems.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, all right.
So
Well, somebody's going to have to come up with a compatible way of communicating, because texting people is not as good as email in certain situations.
Well, not if you've got a long communication.
I'll tell you what annoys me is banks do not accept emails still. Have you ever had this conversation with a bank? The bank will not accept an email.
Why
have you
not?
ever sent an email to a bank?
Yeah, I'm sure I have.
I don't think so.
I'm sure I have.
No, they don't accept them. Because they don't. They still accept faxes.
Yeah.
Because they consider that to be sort of.
Faxes? Nobody sends faxes these days.
Well, you've still got a fax machine.
Yeah, but I don't use it. I use it as a phone.
You must use it as a doorstop.
Now then, you've just asked what's in the other file, right? I'll tell you. Facebook communication, British Gas, explore your online account, the ITV Hub, watch live at 8 p.m, Avast, a digital river.
What?
Avast, that's some sort of protection system for you. No reply at bt.com. So they say check your bill, but you can't get hold of us. BT Sport, Experian Credit.
Well, that's not drunk, is it?
Everton Football Club, Euro Hobbits.
Yeah. Euro Hobbits?
Yeah.
Isn't that Becky?
No.
You sure?
No.
Why is she sending you junk email?
No, I don't know. Euro Hobbits England.
I think it is.
A booking for hotel reference.
What have you a booking for a hotel reference? But that's not junk, though.
A PayPal.
It's like a generation.
Surrey Council.
Cuddly toy.
Yeah. British Gas.
You had 2 from them. You should have chasing you for money.
Liz Hilton. She goes into my junk file. Sorry, Liz. I don't know why that is.
Why are you getting emails from all these people?
I don't know. I've no idea.
Really?
No, some of them say a tweet you were mentioned in has been repeated or retweeted or something.
Well, these are Twitter updates you're getting then by email. What are you getting those for?
I don't know. I know. I don't know. UK Car Line Limited. Do you want a new car? Right. No, thanks. I've got one.
Yeah. Well, it's not new anymore.
Well, it's only 6 months old.
See, junk is something like this. I've got this promotions at kingjackpot.co.uk.
Right, yeah.
And it's like some kind of rubbish that gets sent out to loads of people where it says, congratulations, you can get £20 free, no deposit or credit card required. That's all just, trying to encourage you to gamble online with some dodgy site.
I got one from some...
And I get stuff from the Pottery Barn all the time, which is that American... chain of shops, because I once ordered something for my sister in Pottery Barn in America, and so now they keep emailing me, but it goes into junk.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
All that stuff you've got there is all stuff that's directed at you.
Yeah, well, but sometimes you do business with people and they just send you a load of rubbish. For instance, I got one chain of supermarkets keeps sending me, it's your lucky day, you've been entered in our draw, you can win £500 worth of shopping, but I don't need £500 worth of shopping, thanks, stop sending it to me.
Imagine how many fish fingers you get for that.
No, that's quite right.
Coming up next is Winners and Losers. Very finely balanced, Mr. Parry, 4.5 points apiece. I mean, I guess if we do this week and then we do 2 more, well, the Euros will be over by then, won't they?
I suppose it will be.
Another 2 weeks. So, technically, there's only 3 more left.
Yes.
And if we're 4.5 points apiece, then obviously only one winner can come out of it.
Well, that's right.
I suppose we could completely draw the whole thing. Now, we haven't discussed really who's going to go first with their losers or their winners. What would you like to do?
I'll let you go first with your losers.
You're going to have me go first with my losers.
Yes.
Okay. Well, here are my 3 losers. My first loser is a very current one, and it's from the game last night, and it's Jack Wilshere, I'm afraid. Jack Wilshere, who has played hardly any football in an entire season, who has got himself into some, shall we say, off-the-field difficulties, finding himself in the papers quite frequently.
Yes.
We've said on many an occasion that, we didn't really think Roy Hodgson should take him.
Yes.
He came on, started the game yesterday against Slovakia, and was basically very, very bad indeed. He didn't seem to be able to control the ball. He gave the ball away a couple of key times.
Yes.
He was quite fortunate not to get caught out. And I just think he hasn't done himself any favours at all.
Yes.
And I mean, if he's expecting to get back into the good books at Arsenal or get back into the good books at England, I just don't understand why.
Right.
And every time I looked at him, he was kind of strolling about in the middle of the park.
Yes.
Didn't seem to be putting much effort in at all. So he's my first one. My second one is actually Jordan Spieth.
Yes.
Now, you might remember that Jordan Spieth won the Masters last year.
He did.
And, the year before, I think.
He did.
And the idea was that he was going to win it again this year until he had that complete collapso.
Yes.
Do you remember when he hit about 3 balls into the water? And
I do.
He hasn't recovered since, and he was playing the US Open in Oakmont, I think it was, in Pennsylvania. A terrible tantrum. Started, chucking his clubs around.
That's right.
He did make the cut, which was better than Rory McIlroy did.
Yes, indeed.
But he's obviously a very bad loser.
Yes.
And he didn't come anywhere near. He was making a bit of a run for it all at the end.
Yes.
But he never went anywhere really near winning it. So I think he's going to still stay firmly in my losers box.
Right.
And then Mexico is my final loser because they were supposed to be tipped to be one of the big stars of the Copa America.
Yeah.
One of the reasons they played the Copa America Centenario in America, in the United States, was because they were going to have such a big fan base from Mexico.
Yes.
Because so many Mexicans are living in America.
Yes.
But they got slaughtered at the weekend. I think it was 6-0.
6-0.
And, just nobody knows why. Chile
Yes.
just completely were all over them, and nobody can understand why a team that was supposed to be one of the top teams in the competition suddenly lost by such a massive margin.
Right.
So those are my 3 losers. Jack Wilshere, Mexico, and Jordan Spieth.
Okay.
Right.
Very good.
There they are. What are yours?
You're my 3 losers.
I want to hear them.
Right, my first loser, you won't be surprised to know, is Martin O'Neill.
Yes.
It has to be, I'm afraid.
Martin O'Neill.
Martin O'Neill, I'm telling you.
I don't know why you're so obsessed with him.
My players were magnificent. Well, I'm afraid that he talks a good game, but he just can't fulfil his right. I mean, look, everybody said, they got there in the end. They got in the end. It was an appalling qualifying role they had, and they only scraped through in the end after... a two-legged playoff and got into the tournament. Now they've got here. I mean, you could say, it's not all over for them yet.
Yeah.
But a 3-0 bashing up like they got the other night with Roy Keane sitting there with a face of thunder.
Yeah.
I mean, Martin O'Neill's a loser on 2 scores for me. One, that he's just not been able to make the Irish team work. But secondly, he should never have taken Roy Keane on. Roy Keane's such a gigantic personality that it's very, very difficult to work in him and not be in his shadow because of the man's own record in football as a winner of almost every competition available, OK?
Yeah.
So Martin O'Neill's my number 1. My number 2 loser is Lee Westwood.
Lee Westwood again?
Because once again... No, what do you mean again? I've never made Lee Westwood loser before. No.
You have, because he's never won a major.
Well, the point is, he got himself up the leaderboard in the first 2 days, as he always does, right?
Yeah.
But then when it comes to the crunch, when it comes to actually seeing a competition out, I mean, you could have nominated Rory McIlroy, but it's the first time in 3 years Rory McIlroy hasn't made the cut.
Yes.
Whereas Lee Westwood has just never got over the line.
Yeah.
He's been in playoffs and not got there, and I'm afraid I've got to nominate Lee Westwood because he had another great opportunity to grab his first ever major. And considering that competition was won, the Masters was won this year by another young English golfer, but Lee Westwood still hasn't got it, that emphasises it more. And my third loser, and it pains me to say this, but I'm afraid it is absolutely true, it's Comrade Vladimir Putin.
Vladimir Putin?
Yeah.
As a loser?
It's got to be.
Are you sure?
Well, for 2 reasons.
You better watch out for the polonium injections on the way home.
Yeah, for 2 reasons.
Yeah.
Firstly, the ultras who went to the competition, it's almost state-sponsored, in the sense that an MP from the Russian parliament actually praised these boys, sent out a message, well done. You can't do that without the backing of Vladimir Putin in Russia. However... Not only have the ultras now been withdrawn, they've gone back to Russia because they've just disappeared.
Have they?
Well,
didn't seem any trouble last night.
No trouble at all. But the other issue is the Russian team, who Mr. Putin sent there to conquer the world again, are one of the worst teams in the competition.
They're not good, are they?
So I'm afraid Mr. Putin's,
things are not going too well on the athletic front, are they?
Well, they might not even and they might not have any athletes at the Olympics in Brazil. So on the basis that they could be banned from the Olympics, on the basis that they've already been booted out of the Euro Championships, on the basis that they're ultras who were supposed to go and dominate the landscape in Russia, but were shamed and recalled home. All Mr. Putin's responsibilities, in my view. Loser.
OK, so those are your 3.
Yes.
Do you want to just repeat them so people can remember?
Yes, Martin O'Neill, Lee Westwood, Vladimir Putin.
OK, let's have the winners then.
Right.
Everyone's a winner, baby, that's no lie. That's no lie. You never fail to satisfy
well, they've gone up again now. Some no reason.
Colour, don't they?
They've gone orange.
Yeah.
What was it before? Red?
Yeah, I think so.
Or yellow? It was yellow.
It was yellow.
Yellow.
And red.
And red, and now it's orange.
That makes orange.
So it's like living in a psychedelic world, which isn't too far away from the way our minds work in this building.
Speak for yourself.
But there you go.
Okay, right. You got to go first with your winners.
I'm first with winners, okay?
Yes.
Right, my first winner is got to be Lukaku.
No, please.
It's got to be Romelu Lukaku, because Belgium were the dark horse of this championship to start off with.
Well, you said it was Austria.
No.
Yeah, you did.
No, I meant after the first game. Belgium were a fancied team who could be a possible winner of this tournament.
Yeah.
In the first game, awful, terribly quiet, Lukaku getting pelters.
Yeah.
Second game, Lukaku storms in, 2 goals, Belgium win 3-0. Lukaku has now re-established himself as one of the world's leading forwards.
Did you not have him as one of your heroes yesterday?
No, I didn't.
Are you sure?
No, I did not.
Because we talked an awful lot about the amount of time he had on the ball before he scored the second goal.
No, I did not, I can promise you.
No.
So that's Lukaku, right?
Yeah.
My second one is the Welsh fullback Neil Taylor,
Yeah.
who scored last night for Wales.
Yeah, well, the second attempt.
At the second attempt,
Yeah.
but his first ever goal for his country.
Yeah.
Not only that, the only other time he's ever scored in the whole of his professional life was in a non-league game in front of 293 people 7 years ago.
It's a shame it wasn't the winning goal in a way, isn't it?
Well, it was, but it wasn't anyway.
What?
So, hey?
Hey?
It wasn't. It was the middle goal.
That's what I mean. I said a shame it wasn't the winning goal, because that would have been more of a fairy tale.
Yeah, but the winning goal was... There wasn't a winning goal.
Well, there was a winning goal.
No, there wasn't.
3-1, wasn't it?
No, it was 3-0.
Well, 3-0 rather, yeah.
And if it's 3-0, there can't be a winning goal.
How can there not be a winning goal?
Each goal was a winning goal because it accumulated to 3.
Well, not really.
No, it wasn't like it was 1-1 till the 89th minute and then somebody scored 2-1.
That's
Do you understand my point?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's not as fantastic a story as it would be.
It is a fantastic
if he'd scored
story.
the winning goal.
They were 1-0 up, right?
Yeah.
And you were going on earlier on about, 1-0's dodgy, 2-0's even more
no,
dodgy.
I'm saying that
he
some
scores a
stupid
second,
people say
2-0,
that.
and that sets up Gareth Bale to score the third.
Yeah.
He is a complete winner.
I think you got that wrong.
So, no, I haven't got it wrong. He's a complete winner for scoring for the first time for Wales in a magnificent victory, which helped contribute to taking to the top of their group.
Agree.
If you can't see that as a winner, then I'm afraid you're a thicker head than I thought you were. So we've got
nice, isn't it?
Lukaku, we've got Neil Taylor, and my third winner.
Go on.
My third winner, and I think the whole world will agree with me on this one.
Yeah.
The whole world will open their arms and their hearts and say, yes, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Cliff Richard. I don't know what you're laughing at. It's got to be Cliff Richard.
Even Cliff Richard doesn't think he's a winner.
Cliff Richard has had the ignominy of a...
The what?
The ignominy.
Ignominy?
Right? Yeah, of a 2...
How about the ignominy?
Yes, that's it. Of a
Look,
2...
on the front it says Cliff, my torment, on the front of the Sun.
Well, exactly.
Well, he's hardly a winner, is he?
He certainly is, because he's had
I lay on the floor in floods of tears.
That's right. He's had a 2-year nightmare hanging over his head in which he was falsely accused of offences which are unspeakable. And... What is your problem?
Sorry.
Yeah? What is your problem?
Nothing.
Yeah, and I'm glad you find this funny. Wouldn't be very nice if people came along and accused you of doing devilish things.
I don't do that sort of thing.
Of which you were... Well, neither does Cliff Richard. That's the whole point.
Well,
of which you are not in even one morsel guilty of anything at all. And to have your character, battered and stained like that...
What about that German woman?
What? What are you on about? What German woman?
The one on the beach.
Hey? What are you talking about? That was
the one you talked about earlier.
Well, that was nothing to do with Cliff Richard, you idiot.
Sounded pretty unspeakable to me.
That was nothing to do with Cliff Richard, you Burke. Right. Can you just listen, please, until I finish?
All right.
And Cliff Richard was finally told last week no charge will be brought against him. That's because he's entirely innocent. That's because there's not a stain on his character. That's because he is literally a jewel in the hearts of most British people. And therefore we're all celebrating that Cliff Richard has got his good name back. That makes him the ultimate winner.
You are so pathetic.
No, I'm not.
Just trying
I'm
to get
absolutely
all the
right.
Cliff Richard fans on the side.
Well, you have to be a Cliff Richard fan to rejoice.
All the time now,
rejoice that he's in the clear because he is an innocent man.
All right. Well, I'm going to give my 3 winners now, and I think you'll find they're a lot less crazed. I think whatever psychedelic lights have been going off in here, they've obviously affected your brain. My first winner is Albania. This is a country that you have dissed from the moment the tournament started. You said they shouldn't be here. You said that they're not a footballing nation. You said that, basically it's a country that's not worth a fig. And they won 1-0. It's their first ever victory.
I never said that.
Yes, you did.
I didn't.
Yes, you did. It's the first ever victory they've ever had at a major finals tournament, right? And they may actually progress to the last 16. We don't know yet because we're waiting to see on a few other results. But absolutely brilliant. They beat Romania. They weren't supposed to. They scored quite a good goal to do so. And I just think, to see teams like Albania actually finding their way into the latter stages of a Euros final is tremendous stuff.
Yes.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yes.
Now, my next one is the Cleveland Cavaliers, because, of course, knowing that you're a big NBA fan, you would have noticed over the weekend that the Cleveland Cavaliers won the NBA Finals.
Nobody cares.
Against the Golden State Warriors.
I don't think anybody
Despite
cares.
the fact that Steph Curry, the major sort of basketball star of the current sort of situation, plays for the Golden State Warriors. They were 3-1 down in the series, and they came back and won it. And it's absolutely brilliant. They haven't won a title till 52 years ago, right? So it's one of those fairy stories that you never really hear very much about.
Anybody cares.
Well, it's a massive, massive event, and they've had
massive
thousands.
in this country.
It is massive in this country.
It's not massive in this building. It's not massive to our millions of Talk Sport listeners.
As a sports story, it is absolutely massive. And they've had thousands of people. They've had victory parades, and everyone around the world who is a fan of basketball has totally agreed that they are winners this week.
Fans of basketball, mate, are in America.
Yeah, well, I mean, Cliff Richard is not a winner. Let's put it that way.
Of course he is.
My final winner, which is why I was quizzing you on that guy that scored a goal for Wales, is of course Gareth Bale, because Gareth Bale has now scored
it's a bit obvious,
3 goals in this tournament, right?
Yeah, he's leading scorer.
He is the leading scorer in the tournament for the Golden Boot.
That was so obvious. I left that one alone.
No, it's not obvious. He has totally and utterly inspired Wales to become a team who play together, who play better off the field together and on the field as well. And I think there's no question in anybody's mind that Gareth Bale right now is the star of the tournament, because I would guarantee that there will be no team like Wales to top a group. I mean, Wales have topped this group, right?
Yep.
And look at all the other teams that will top the group. They're all teams that you would have expected to top the group.
Yep.
Wales are totally overachieving, and it is all down to Gareth Bale. So those are my 3 winners: Albania, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Gareth Bale.
Very
We're about
flaky.
to post the voting procedure on Twitter, so you can vote for me or Mike Parry. Voting will be open until midnight, of course, and then we will tally it up to see which one of us jumps ahead of the other. This is TalkSport.
You wanted. Now you don't want what you got. Once I was a thrill to you. Suddenly I'm not.
Show's nearly over already.
Yeah, it certainly is.
The time has gone.
Yeah.
This is the music for lithography.
Yes.
Because we're talking about our 3 favourite gifts.
3 favourite gifts, yes.
So, I don't know if you had a chance to compile any gifts that you may have received over the course of time.
Yes.
Would you like to go first with your number 1 gift?
OK, my number 1 gift is when I passed my 11 plus.
Yeah.
That Christmas, because you passed your 11 plus in the summer.
Did you cheat in that?
Sorry? No, I didn't. No.
You actually passed it genuinely.
And I passed the King's School Chester entrance exam at the same time. Double, 2 brains.
Double gift.
2 brains.
2 brains.
And
like David Willits.
That's right, yeah. And at that Christmas, I got a beautiful blue and white bike, which was the love of my life.
Blue and white bike?
It's fantastic,
really?
Honestly, yeah.
Was it a racing bike?
No, it wasn't actually, because I was only 11 and sort of, at that age.
I had a racing bike when I was 11.
Yeah, I didn't, with the drop handlebars and all that. Yeah, no, I didn't fancy that. And I was so proud of my bike. It was a particularly bad winter.
Right.
And
do you remember the make of it?
No, I don't actually, but it wasn't a rally.
It wasn't a rally
because I later had a rally when I got a bit bigger and older. A new bike, I got a rally, but this wasn't a rally. But it was a beautifully painted blue and white bike.
Yeah,
and sort of very sturdy design. It wasn't like a mountain bike. We didn't have mountain bikes in those days.
It had a basketball,
but it had a double sort of frame, if you see what I mean. Instead of having one crossbar, it had 2. If you see what I mean.
Quite heavy then.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a great bike. But the thing is, I was so proud of it. It was a very, very bitter winter. And almost until mid-January, there was ice on the ground. Snow would come and then it'd freeze overnight and it'd be ice. And I wouldn't take my bike out because I was frightened I'd puncture a tyre or something or I'd fall off it because of the ice on the roads and all that.
Right.
So it was a good 2 weeks before I rode it because in those days, believe it or not, in the north of England, the snow and the ice used to hang around for weeks.
Yeah.
Well,
I suppose
now,
they didn't put the grit down as much.
They didn't have grit and all that kind of stuff, and we lived in a cul-de-sac anyway.
Yeah.
So it was difficult to to get it out. But that was that was the love of my life, that bike. In fact, even when I got older, when about 14, you have a growth spurt, and you get a bigger bike. I wouldn't get rid of my my other bike. I had it till I left home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm going to say it's difficult, this one, really, because, there's been many gifts over the years that I've been given, which have been fantastic, and many of them haven't been particularly brilliant actual gifts, which is the person that's given them has made you feel very nice about it. I'm going to say my Hugo Boss coat that I was given. I was just I'm sort of in a slightly, shall we say, complicated domestic situation.
Right.
And having moved out of the house, I didn't have very many belongings.
Which house?
My marital house.
Where?
What do you mean, where?
Well, where was the house?
Well, it was in Wiltshire.
Right, OK. So who gave you the Hugo Boss coat?
Well, I don't want to get into any particular details, but it was given to me by the woman that I was then with. And I hadn't really been given an awful lot.
So you moved out of your house because you picked up somebody else?
Well, it wasn't just picking up somebody else. It's much more complicated than that. I don't particularly want to get into the ins and outs.
Oh, really?
Right?
You don't want to get into the ins and outs?
No, but I just want to say that
because you don't want to reveal your despicable behaviour.
It's not about that. No, it's about the fact that it was this wonderfully expensive overcoat, and I'd never really been bought anything like that before by anyone.
Right. Okay.
Because mostly I was the one that did the buying. And I was in this kind of situation where, shall we say, generosity was only really going in one direction.
Generosity.
And to be given this fantastic, fabulous, dark blue, double-breasted...
Yes.
single-breasted coat was fantastic.
Right.
Gorgeous.
Okay.
So I remember that one.
Right, OK, you remember that one, right.
So your second one would be...
Well, my second one is an item of clothing as well. For my 21st birthday, my parents asked me, did you want the usual, like a watch, or...
A watch?
Yeah, a watch.
Well, they buy a watch every year.
No, for 21st birthdays.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Or did you want I don't know what else they offered me.
Car?
No, not a car. No, never offered me a
Bike?
car or anything like that. No, not a bike or anything. I think a briefcase.
A briefcase?
Yeah, like...
A briefcase?
Well, in those days, you had executive briefcases, you know what I mean? If you were
you probably
up and
walked around with one of those for about 15, right?
Well, no, but I had
Carry
one.
sandwiches in it.
I had one, don't worry about that.
I'm not worried about it.
And anyway, what I said I wanted was, I don't know why, but I fancied a pinstripe three-piece suit. Why do you find that so funny? Why do you find that so funny?
Why don't you just buy your own? Why did you have to get somebody to buy it for you?
Well, because I wanted an expensive one. I wanted it made to measure.
Made to measure from where?
Well, from a tailor's, obviously.
Well, obviously,
yeah,
but what? Yeah. Somebody so-and-so's of Chester.
No, it was, yeah. It was
actually, there was a tailor's called Chester Barry.
Yeah, there was actually. Chester, no, they weren't from Chester, no. But anyway, I got this fantastic made-to-measure blue pinstripe suit made.
Yeah.
Do you know what inspired me to get it?
What?
The Likely Lads. In the Likely Lads, there was...
Rodney Bewes was...
That's right, Rodney Bewes. I thought he looked so smart in it.
I'm not laughing at the fact that you got one, because I actually bought myself one of those when I was about 17.
Right, well, there you go. And James Bolam always looked so scruffy by comparison, so I thought that'd be great. So I think it cost about 300 quid in those days. So, it was quite a lot of money. And I looked magnificent in it, and in fact, I've got a famous picture somewhere of me and Trudy at my 21st birthday party, me looking absolutely resplendent in my
I'll have to get that picture.
In my new, I don't know where it is actually, in my new blue pinstripe suit.
Was it a light blue pinstripe or a white one or what?
No, it was dark blue suit with a white pinstripe in it, but a broad white pinstripe, and it brilliant suit, brilliant suit. And truly looking resplendent in a green dress I bought her for the party. Yeah,
well, like the Queen's outfit the other day.
No, it was a long flowing one that young ladies wore in those days. You know what I mean? Yeah,
yeah. My second one is going to be a gift that I actually got from a guy that you might remember. His name escapes me, but he used to be the PR for Rolls-Royce over in America. Reg somebody his name was, I think.
I don't think I ever came across him.
He was a fantastic bloke, and when I got married, he said, look, no problem at all, I'll get you a Rolls-Royce for the wedding.
Yes.
So that you can, leave the church in style and all that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, as luck would have it, about a week before, he said, look, I'm really sorry, but, all the cars that we normally get in that we can loan out, they're all out.
All gone.
And I can't get you one.
Yeah.
So in the end, I had 3 sort of ordinary stretch limos, if you remember, outside the church.
I think I do, I do.
Ferrying people down to the thing. But good for his word, about a month or two later, when we got back from honeymoon, he rang me and he said, look, I managed to get you a roller for the weekend. And I said, that's fantastic.
Very good.
Silver Shadow 2, I think, at the time.
Excellent.
Which was the top of the range kind of one. And I had to go to another wedding down in Pennsylvania.
Right.
And it was with some people that I'd been at university with, friends of my ex-wives and stuff. And we showed up in this Rolls-Royce.
Yes.
And they all just assumed that it was my car.
Exactly.
Mostly because they were American and because I was English, and they just thought, well, everyone in
Where
England
did you keep it in Manhattan?
I didn't really keep it in Manhattan because I picked it up on my street. It was driven by a Rolls-Royce employee.
Yeah.
Dropped at my street.
Yes.
And literally I got in it and just drove away.
Right.
Because I didn't.
So you never parked it overnight in Manhattan?
I never. No, I think I did park
when you came back?
No, I think I parked it in a garage.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, only certain garages would take it. But
That's
the great thing about it was I actually had to go to a Mike Tyson press conference.
Right.
And I wanted to return it to their place in New Jersey.
Yes.
And it was after he'd crashed his car into a tree.
Right, I remember,
And I turned up in it
Yeah.
at the press conference. And first of all, everybody thought I was Mike Tyson. So all
Yeah.
the snappers were taking pictures of me.
That's right.
And I got out of the car.
And it was,
they went,
it's Mike Graham.
Who's this guy? Well, a lot of them didn't know me because it was sort of local press. And I
Yeah,
said,
right.
I'm from the Times in London.
Yeah.
I was covering it for them.
Yeah,
and I
excellent.
said, it's my company car. And they went, oh, really? Well, man, that's great. They all believed it.
Yeah.
So that was a good weekend.
Yeah, but that wasn't really a gift, was it?
It was a gift.
No, it was a loan.
Well, it was a gift.
It wasn't a
I
permanent
saw it as a gift.
I mean, you can't now go into the garage and say, this is the Rolls Royce that I was
I would
given.
say it was a gift.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, you said it's not a game, this. It's not like there's nobody's voting on this.
Yeah, one final listography, which involves both of us, really. You
Okay.
might have even contributed towards it. When I left after my first stint in New York, after about 3 years, everybody in Costello's got together, had a collection, and bought me a gold watch.
Really?
Well, it was a leather strap, because I'd indicated that I knew it was coming, you know.
I don't remember you leaving too, actually.
Yeah, well,
Was I there?
were so many of them, weren't there, in those days?
Well, I suppose.
And I'd indicated that I didn't like, metal bracelets and all that kind of stuff, wristbands or whatever. So I said, and it was a beautiful square watch, and it was
Square?
Yeah, it was square. It wasn't.
What make was it?
I'm not sure, but it was Swiss.
Right.
And it was incredibly thin.
Yeah.
You know, it was a thin gold watch. I mean,
Right.
it was, you know, it was only the width of a hair and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And it was a beautiful watch. But unfortunately, a couple of years later, I bashed it on the corner of a desk in the Daily Express, and it was beyond repair.
Oh, dear.
You know, I bashed it so hard that it broke the glass, but it dented the face of the watch
Right.
and bent the hands.
Right.
And it was beyond repair.
No, well, never mind.
Sadly.
You still got that crappy sort of plastic watch that you wear, that Swatch.
I've got a Swatch, but I've also got a Rolex.
Well, so you say.
Well, you've seen the Rolex.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know if it's a real one or not, do I?
Well, it is real. Don't worry, it's real. I might
much
be
does it
getting rid of
cost?
it soon because I'm getting a new one.
You're getting a new Rolex?
Yes.
Why would you get a new one?
Because I want one with a blue face.
You want one with a blue face?
Yeah, to celebrate Everton's rebirth.
That's ridiculous. Now, you might not be surprised to know, because it was Father's Day, I'm going to have to say one of the greatest gifts of all time that I've ever had, my children.
Well, of course.
So, you know, I can't pick one of
Yes,
them. I have to say all four of them.
Rather sentimental, that. But,
Well, I am sentimental.
Yes, yeah, I
You
know.
know, I've been sentimental for the whole weekend after
Yes.
that, you know, amazing gesture of yours on Sunday.
Yes, yes,
To
of
buy me
course.
that bottle of champagne.
Yes, which you've roundly mocked ever since.
I have not mocked it. No, I drank it, and it's over, and it's
People
done.
have seen the real you tonight.
Yeah. If you want to see Porky giving that to me, by the way, you can find it on Two Mikes TV. This is Talk Sport. We are the Two Mikes.
Look at the light! Don't forget to come back tomorrow for another sparkling, as fizzy as a bottle of champagne podcast from the Two Mikes.
Have you ever had, shall we say, horizontal refreshment with a woman from the continent of Europe?
Yes, indeed, I
Have
have.
you?
Yes.
From
yes.
where?
Germany.
Germany? Oh, you said the other night you didn't think German women were very attractive.
Oh, no, I didn't say that.
You
No.
did.
Yeah, well, this was on a beach in Mallorca. So you can't really see what they look like at that time of the night.
On a beach?
After a
In
16-hour
Mallorca?
bladderation
Was she
session.
face down or something?
No, but I had double vision at the time. Everything we've seen about the Mafia, including The Sopranos and all that, these guys are ruthless, aren't they?
Oh, they absolutely
but
are.
their latest trick, is they seem to be running out of ideas.
I mean, to be fair, there's not much point being in the Mafia unless you're ruthless, really. I think it's one of the first things they say.
Yeah.
Are you ruthless?
Yeah.
No.
If you love the Two Mikes podcast, you'll love the live show. Weekday overnights from 1am on DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM and via the TalkSport app. TalkSport, your Premier League station with exclusive commentaries every weekend.
What an absolute corker!
TalkSport.
Oh, excuse me.
You're right.
Excuse me.
So you're being struck down. This is like The Omen.
Yeah.